at Stockton Honda and get huge savings on our giant selection, plus top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Injured and you're considering an LA law firm looking to charge you 45% to 50% in attorney's fees? That's overcharging. Ashton and Price has been around for over 25 years, and I can tell you no matter how complicated your injury case, you should never be charged 45% or 50% in attorney's fees ever. Direct, experienced, unrelenting, and honest local representation matters. It's called home court advantage for a reason. Ashton and Price, serious local attorneys for serious people with serious injuries. So for the best local advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
KHD-KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX-HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson. Online at SactownSports.com or on the app. Kings, Niners, and Sacramento. The Matt and Kayla Show starts now.
Well, if you weren't listening to the last 10 minutes here on Sactown Sports, I don't know if you missed out or if you dodged a bullet. I'll tell you, my heart rate.
Is it up there?
It's up. The stress. Like, I'm the kind of person that if I watch something embarrassing or cringe happen to somebody else, it physically hurts me. Like, it could have nothing to do with me. But if I'm in person and I watched Kayla or Kyle do something dumb, I would feel like I just did it right there with them.
I'm the same way.
And hearing Dave nearly ruin his career and his wife's reputation with videos that are not supposed to be shown to pastors at birthday parties. Whoo, boy. How do we get out of that?
I know, right?
Where do we go from here? Well, we'll have 4 hours to try and get that image out of our head. I'm Matt George. Kayla Anderson joining me, of course. Matt and Kayla, Sactown Sports. Kyle Ledbetter on the other side of the glass, pushing the buttons, making us look and sound good. And, of course, good morning to all of you out there, whether it's everyone tuning in on the Sactown Sports YouTube channel. You can get involved in the chat over there. We still have plenty to talk about when it comes to the Sacramento Kings and these trade rumors. Things have cooled off a little bit after the reactions yesterday to the trade of the trading of Keon Ellis to Chicago. I almost said Chicago. The Cleveland Cavaliers. They will be in town on Saturday, and I have to imagine both Keon's probably going to get a really, really nice ovation in that game, and he's also probably going to try to ball out and make Kings fans hurt.
Probably.
Already. Not because he wants to make Kings fans hurt, but I think he has a message to send to certain members of the Sacramento Kings organization. We'll talk about that a little bit today. James Harden wants out of the Clippers now. I don't know what will make James Harden happy, but whatever. We got to talk about DeAndre Hunter. I have some advanced metrics, some numbers that my buddy Will Z helped me sift through and come up with to really kind of describe and understand who DeAndre Hunter is as a defender, as an offensive player, the down year he's having versus his career in general, like positives, negatives. It's not all to make him look good or all to make him look bad. It's just kind of an understanding of who DeAndre Hunter is.
Unbiased, more number related.
Right, and we'll talk about what DeAndre Hunter we believe will be for this Kings team because in theory he's going to suit up tomorrow night when the Kings host the Memphis Grizzlies. So hopefully we'll see his debut with that. There's lots of chatter around Domantas Sabonis to the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors are legitimately interested. This conversation is happening, but there is a key sticking point that we need to dive into, and we've talked about it before. It has everything to do with Jakob Poeltl and nobody wanting that contract. And the Sacramento Kings are going to have to, or probably keeping the price high in terms of draft compensation if they are to take on Jakob Poeltl. So we'll dive into that later in the show at 1 o'clock. My good friend, former partner at ABC 10, Kevin John, is going to join us. He is out in the Bay for all of the Super Bowl festivities. He was there for everything last night. So we'll hear from Kevin. He'll set the scene for us. There's a lot of great stuff coming. We'll also talk about expectations for the Kings rookies going forward. So a lot to get to into this show today, Kayla. But this morning, I took my son to school, and his school does just different random spirit days and things like that. And today was Pajama day at school. Mm-hmm. And after I dropped him off, because I dropped him off and his teacher was like wearing pajamas and robes, and so were all just the teachers, the different office workers. It was just pajama day at school. And I left and got in my car feeling extremely jealous because no one says we can't, I suppose.
Yeah.
But if I could rock pajamas for a day at school, like this should be a more socially acceptable thing in all forms of work. Because if I were cozy in a pair of pajamas doing this show, I'd feel like I'd do a lot better show.
Look, we aren't complaining because spending 20 years in TV, and I know you spent years in TV,
I
would never want to go back to having to wear a dress and heels or a dress and something that I had to actually think about my wardrobe going into work, doing actually my hair every day. Call me lazy now? You damn right. I want to be lazy because I put in all the work after all those years. I do not want to look like I'm on TV. So apologize if I don't look like I want to be on TV because this is the perk of this job.
Yep.
We can wear sweatshirts. We can wear jeans. But if you want to take it to another level, when we were in the pandemic and we could wear our pajama bottoms and just slip on a top while we went to do our, hits for TV or radio, that was actually nice too. But yeah, once in a while, I wouldn't mind having a pajama day. I might even get caught in a onesie.
We would have
You never know.
We would have to do it unified as a show, though.
We would.
We can't.
So we couldn't get in trouble.
That's a big
individually.
exercise in trust too, because if I say we're doing pajama day and y'all don't show up in pajamas and I do, I'll never talk to you again.
If I say I'm doing something, I'm freaking doing it.
But I can.
Well, now I have to show up not wearing it when you say it.
Kyle.
No, Kyle, you can't be that guy.
I mean,
all
for one, one for all.
This is a loyalty test.
No,
this
but
is a loyalty
but
test
now
here.
that I know it's gonna bother you, I kind of have to poke a little bit.
Nope. Don't betray me like that. That soon. Don't betray me like that. I agree with you completely, though. Coming from TV, I have not touched a tie in a month, and I love it.
Isn't it so
and
nice?
I have just my dress shirts and jackets hanging up in my closet that I used to have to wear every day and dry clean and stuff. I'm just staring at you like, I don't need you right now.
You don't need them. If we have to go do something like an appearance or something that requires us, okay, we have that in our closet we can pull out. But for the most part, that is gone and done. By the way, guys, when I first got into TV, which was in the olden days, it was not this tennis shoe thing.
Oh, yeah.
We had to wear heels.
Yep.
And even when I went and shot Friday Night Football, my dumb you-know-what was in heels or wedges.
That's
and I'm
insane.
thinking, you're an idiot,
nuts.
Kayla.
Yeah, you're nuts.
Your now self is thinking, what was she thinking?
See, I did not care about shoes at all until I started working in TV because then I realized the craze of, wait, I can wear different colored Nikes with my suits. Okay, this looks dope. And then I have more shoes than my wife does now.
Of course, because then we get on that kick of
I'm
we want all the
sneakerhead
different
now.
Nikes.
Yeah, full sneakerhead. But it's all Nikes. I'm the kind of guy that I pick a brand and I stick with a brand like they're sponsoring me, even though they never would. If I'm golfing, I wear all Nike golf stuff like I'm freaking Tiger Woods sponsored by Nike, and someone gives me Under Armour, I'm like, ew.
You're like, what is this?
But they all look amazing,
Well,
but I'm
you
just
can't
married to
mix.
Nike for some reason. Oh yeah, no, you can't.
cannot mix.
Nah.
I think my nephews one day had an Adidas and Nike shoes, and I said, no.
Yeah, no.
We can't do it.
Uh-uh.
No, they're still young, but I'm trying to teach them.
Someone the other day was wearing a pair of Nike sweats with I think Under Armour sweatshirt, and I was just like, get some help.
Yeah.
Get some help. I'm weird like that. I pick a brand, and it's like that with other things, like Samsung.
Yeah.
I love Samsung stuff. I have a Samsung fridge. I'm married to Samsung stuff because I had a Samsung TV that was great.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, all right, Samsung's my brand.
And we discussed how we're different in this way. You are not a Mac person.
No.
You are the
God, no.
opposite.
Mac, iPhone, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, you're
Nope.
I'm not having anything to do with this.
If Apple walked in here right now and said, we'll sponsor this show, Matt, you have to say nice things. I don't know if I can
Matt
do
says
it.
I stepped out.
I can't. I am the person that perpetually gets made fun of for having a green bubble by all of my Apple phone friends, and y'all can, because I don't care. I will happily be a green bubble because I know how to work my phone. And when all you idiots are updating your phone at the same time around the world because Apple launches an update and you guys, it's going slow. I remember in college when updates would come out and the entire dorm would freak out. My phone's not working because I have to update. It's going to take an hour. I'm like, you idiots, because you all have the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, we're stupid. That's okay.
But I also fully admit that I'm a very old man in this way. I got a iPhone as a work phone when I worked at ABC 10, and I tried to use it for about a week, and I like I'm useless when it comes to iOS stuff, and even a Mac too. You put me on a Mac, I'm like, I don't know where anything is or what the hell is GarageBand? What is Safari? What is this?
We're all set in our ways.
Yes.
You know, and once we get set in our ways, we don't want to do much else. Kind of like, you know, some players, they get set in their ways and, you know, they're not wanting to move off of where they are. Oh, yeah, Zach LaVine probably going to just stay here, even though he's probably miserable.
What a great question, though, from Sactown Sports 1140's comment or YouTube channel comment section. Ricardo Rangel Reyes, I think is how you say your name. What if Apple offered 2 first-rounders? You know what? I'd do that deal.
There you go.
If you said the Kings get 2 first-round picks, Matt, you have to use an Apple phone, I will bite the bullet for everybody.
Matt's
2 first-rounders.
going to class to learn.
Sounds good. And 2 first-rounders might be what the Sacramento Kings are asking for or demanding or need in order to take on Jakob Poeltl's contract. We will talk about that. We're going to dive in really to that trade conversation with the Toronto Raptors and Domantas Sabonis coming up at noon. But once again, hey, it's trade deadline week, Kayla, and so every year there's just a curveball, like something comes out of nowhere. And last year it was the Luka Doncic trade heard around the world that everybody thought was a hack. This year not as extreme, but all of a sudden James Harden comes out and says, "Yeah, I want to be traded from the LA Clippers," and the Clippers are now willing to work with him. And I laughed when I read the Shams report because it was I read things in tones, like I assign a tone when I read things. And the tone that I assigned from Shams was like, this was the 3rd tweet in a month-long saga of, okay, now they're willing to work together.
Yeah.
Not, what the hell, James Harden is now wanting out of the Clippers. But whatever, James. I don't know what's going to make you happy, my guy, but go ahead.
I feel like he's like one of the most unhappy people in the NBA. Like, wherever he goes or whatever demands he makes, it all ends up like not being good enough in the end, or it doesn't work out, or where he goes doesn't work out. The man is just unhappy. Like, I would suggest maybe just getting out of the business and go do something else.
Well, I'm unhappy watching you play, James.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like you're impressing all of us in terms of what you're actually doing on the court. But here again, it's trade deadline, and we have him popping up, and his beard wants to make a trade, and, you know, they're willing to do it, I'm sure. So, and I guess poor Darius Garland is now involved in it because his name has obviously been out there with the Cavs interested in trading him.
I'm a self-proclaimed James Harden hater. I'm just not. I'm not a fan of James, and it has nothing to do with him personally. I don't know him. I've never met him. Never talked to. Oh well, okay. I've seen the stuff when he beefed with Daryl Morey after all the things that happened in Philly and blah blah blah. I just don't like James Harden's game. And there's only one player that I've become more annoyed with watching than James Harden, and that became Luka Doncic. Not because of Luka's game. I think Luka's game is mesmerizing.
Yours is more the person.
Luka just cries all the time. James is quite literally my least favorite player to watch live. And I understand foul baiting is an art form. And a lot of people say SGA does it. He does not do it to the level James Harden does. Now, James, first ballot Hall of Famer, 100%. Incredible player. The numbers don't lie. I will give him all the roses and all the flowers that he deserves for the career that he's had. But personally, I hate watching James Harden play. And this has been a saga where he's bounced all over the place and whatever. Like, I don't know. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff surrounding the Clippers that has quieted down since the start of the season with the tree, like the tree gate and everything like that, and Kawhi and how that. I don't know if he's just trying to abandon ship.
They were also playing poorly for a while.
Yes.
And then kind of
and they've been turning things around.
Yeah.
So I'm not touching James Harden with a 10-foot pole if I'm any team. If the Sacramento Kings, the only way that I would want to see them get involved in this at all is if they're like, okay, now we can find a way to send like DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine to the Clippers, but I don't think that's going to happen because it does sound like it's going to be like a James Harden Darius Garland swap. It sounds like James Harden wants to go to either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Atlanta Hawks, according to Jake Fisher and Mark Stein. And both those teams aren't interested. Good for them.
They're like, we're not touching that with the 10-foot pole.
So, yeah, whatever, James. Like, good luck, bro.
But I honestly did not see this coming. I woke up to this early because I get up early. I woke up to this morning and I was like, had to check it a couple times, rub my eyes a little bit. Like, because I saw Darius and I'm like, okay, no surprise Darius is in the mix for something. Because we've been hearing his name even attached to the Kings earlier before the season really started. But to see, like, James Harden involved, I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
I guess he's not happy anymore. Like something happened overnight where he now is wanting out.
From T3ND in the comment section, James Harden has said nothing during the whole Clipper scandal and Kawhi not playing until this season. Now he's a bad guy again. Stop it. No, I don't think James has done anything wrong. I just don't like watching James Harden play basketball, and I don't know what James wants because he's bouncing around all the time. He's perpetually, it seems, unhappy, or what is James Harden's home?
I don't think
his
he
home
knows.
was the Rockets. Like that was his team, that was his place, like that was his shot.
That's what I associate him with.
And I don't know what, like, okay, he goes to Minnesota or goes to Atlanta where he wants. Okay, he goes to Minnesota, you're second fiddle to Ant, just like you were second fiddle to Kawhi in Clipperland. You go to Atlanta. I mean, I guess maybe
Atlanta you might be.
Maybe you're the face there for now, but Atlanta's on a different timeline in theory than you. Like, I just don't know what James Harden wants and what will make him happy, but it's his prerogative. He can demand a trade if he wants to.
It sounds like on this one, it's that he wanted a longer-term commitment, and the Clippers were not willing to go there because the Clippers are... I don't know what the Clippers are doing either, because it was like they want to prioritize long-term cap flexibility, but trading for Darius Garland, which seems to be the only offer on the table, would extend him for 3 years. So I guess Garland's a good contract, but I don't really know what the Clippers' endgame is. They just didn't want to re-sign James Harden.
I think the Clippers' endgame should be we're done being the old team that filled with guys that were all-stars 4 or 5 years ago. Now, I personally believe Kawhi Leonard deserved to be an all-star, and he was snubbed. And we'll talk about the all-star starters and reserves later on in the show and who was snubbed and who wasn't.
He got off to a little bit of a rough start, but he's played really well.
And he's been banged up a little bit, as Kawhi Leonard usually is, but since he's come back, he's been playing really, really well. But the Clippers, since the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trade to OKC to bring Paul George over to play with his best buddy Kawhi, the Clippers have just been a perpetual old team of, like, you're trying to catch lightning in a bottle for a year and combine all these names that were really, really good individually 3-4 years ago. Very similar to what the Kings are doing this year. The Clippers have been trying to do for 4 or 5 years. Now, the Clippers have been more successful at it than the Sacramento Kings, to be fair to them. But if I'm I don't blame the Clippers one bit for not wanting to extend or commit long-term to James Harden. And if they can get value from James right now, like, again, that's also how I read the tweet from Shams, the report from Shams, because it seems like James went to them and said, I want to trade, and the Clippers are like, all right, like, we'll play ball, okay. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world to us. So I'm very interested to see if Garland is what they end up getting. I don't hate that trade for the Clippers. I'm confused about, I don't think James Harden makes the Cavs that much better.
It's a little weird for me to picture that, but...
The Cavs one is just for apron reasons, because the Cavs are second apron right now. If they're still second apron when they get to the summer, they will have all the restrictions of the draft picks and the MLE and the aggregating salaries and all that stuff. And they're explaining, James, it's like only $13 million of his player option for next year is guaranteed, so he's probably going to decline it. So, yeah, this is all just financial for the Cavs.
And that's the thing. You're talking about James Harden, like, what do you want? You know, like, obviously the mentions, like Kyle said, are he wanted a longer-term deal in L.A. I'm sure he would be happy to stay in L.A. if he could. But now, if it is not really his choice and he's kind of saying, hey, I need something, and they ship him to Cleveland, not a news alert here, but don't think he'll be particularly happy over there, too. So have fun, finding a spot for him and seeing how happy he'll be in terms of playing there, maybe because they're a playoff team.
I think James Harden is redundant when you have Donovan Mitchell, unless you're like James Harden and Donovan Mitchell are essentially going to be co-point guard / 2 guards and just these hybrid ball-handling guards, which is possible. But again, I don't think James Harden wins you playoff series. I don't. So,
but he does get you there.
Sure.
I think he's like the only player in the league who's been 16 years in a row to the playoffs.
But James Harden that's true. James Harden with the Cavaliers, though, does that make them more likely to defeat the Detroit Pistons? Does that make them more likely to defeat even this version of the Boston Celtics? Because even without Jason Tatum, the Celtics have been really, really good. And then even if they do, you get to the NBA Finals, are any of them getting through either the Spurs or the Thunder or whoever comes out of the West? Like,
I guess
I don't know.
I guess the counterpoint in the short term is that Darius Garland just isn't playing. So in fairness, like available James Harden is better than dead money on Garland.
I understand that completely. I think
That's
you could talk yourself into it being an upgrade. I just don't think it moves the needle enough to where because the Cavaliers are in a we need to win a title window. They were disappointed because they were the best team in the league or best team in the NBA for a lot of last season.
Underwhelmed this
and they underperformed in the playoffs, and they have not been the same team since. So, I mean, maybe James Harden and Evan Mobley, I don't know, maybe you feel good.
And to be fair, and I've come on the show and said this, like I'm a huge DG gal because I covered him at Vanderbilt. So I always like support DG. But to be fair and to be transparent, like he has been extremely beat up.
Yeah.
Darius Garland cannot stay healthy.
Right.
And I do kind of feel like they think it's more of a like there's something that continues to bother him with the toe injuries. And it's something where I think if they feel they can get off of that, then they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, no matter what happens, James Harden has a no trade clause. So he's going to have to choose where he goes. So I don't think he's going to be lining up to be traded to Sacramento unless he knew they were buying him out, and then he could choose where he wanted to go after that, which maybe that's what gets you to Atlanta or Minnesota. I don't know. But I've seen this reaction on social media, and I don't understand it, Kayla. It's this, the Kings should have waited. Kings should have waited to trade DeAndre Hunter because now that the Cavs and Clippers are involved, the Kings could have been involved. Why?
No, thank you.
If anything, this might be why Scott Perry felt like he needed to get the deal done this weekend.
Yeah.
Because I believe, and we've heard now a clip has come out of Perry talking about DeAndre Hunter before he was the Kings general manager when he was on his podcast. I believe Scott Perry wanted DeAndre Hunter. And that was a target that he felt he could get while also moving off of a contract. I think that he felt that he was buying low on a talent in DeAndre Hunter whose value is down because he's having a bad year. And again, we're going to talk a whole heck of a lot about DeAndre Hunter, what he brings to the Kings, the concerns, the pros. Or we'll talk about that a lot at 11 o'clock. I do believe that DeAndre Hunter is a Scott Perry guy. Mm-hmm. So if Scott Perry and the Kings wanted to go and get DeAndre Hunter, and they had the possibility to go out and get him while also moving on from the Schroeder contract, that was on the table. If he waits until this James Harden news comes out, and now the Cavs pivot their focus away from, okay, we'll put that deal on the side because we got to get this deal handled first, that's bad for the Kings. So I think it's almost good that Sacramento got the trade done before this James Harden stuff surfaced.
This has been the whole thing that we've spoke about leading up to the trade deadline that's coming up on Thursday is Scott Perry has got to, whatever he does, he's got to make some moves to move this. Again, we'll talk about this too. Rebuilding or rebooting. I'd hope that it's more of the rebuilding. I don't want to see a hybrid bull kind of thing like that Alan brought up the other day, this hybrid rebuild. I don't want to see that. Like, are we in a rebuild or are we not here?
Yeah.
And so to make moves, you've got to make them like quickly and swiftly. And they can't just be bad deals. But I just think the deal he made, as much as we don't want to just see Keon Ellis go and we didn't see draft picks in return, I do think there is some sort of a plan for DeAndre Hunter, whether that be, he fits with what we're doing. We're going to try to see how he works with Keegan Murray. We got bigger at that position and depth-wise. Mm-hmm. But also, maybe we could get his value up, here, new environment.
Sure.
And then next year, maybe that's a more valuable asset for us.
Potentially a more valuable asset to move. He's also on an expiring deal next year with DeAndre Hunter. So if you feel like if it's not working out, again, you have a trial. You can see it's low stakes right now. The Kings aren't necessarily trying to win basketball games. So I'm very curious about what the rotations look like. Is DeAndre Hunter coming off the bench? Is he starting? We'll break down what we think is going to happen again at 11 o'clock. But this is the opportunity for DeAndre Hunter to essentially audition and try out for the Kings a little bit. We'll see if he's as good of a player as Scott Perry, I think, believes he is or can be part of the plan like Scott Perry wants him to be. And then the big thing for me, it's been this way, is what does it look like when Keegan Murray comes back?
Yeah.
Like, that's the big thing. Can
I ask real quick?
Sure.
Do we have any timeline on Keegan?
We have not heard anything. There have been no updates.
I just wanted to double check.
No updates on Keegan. Yeah. He's been, I think this is, I want to say 3 weeks. No,
seems
maybe
so much
more
longer
than that because he got hurt before our show started. Mm-hmm. So we're around a month.
So January 6th, he was diagnosed 3 to 4 weeks. So we're currently in, just doing quick math here, the middle of week 4.
So he'll be but that was reevaluated, correct? That was not. That was not.
Yeah, reevaluated in 3 to 4. Oh, well, perfect. Today's the start of week 4.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so he'll be reevaluated. 2 things with the Kings. Obviously, number one, they would love to have Keegan Murray back because they want him to get as much run as possible, especially now that DeAndre Hunter is here. But Keegan has been banged the heck up this season with different injuries. Yep. Shoulder, ankle,
finger,
thumb, or finger, or whatever it was. Like, he's been banged up. Mm-hmm. He had some back problems as well. Take your time, dude. Like, take your time. As much as you want to come back and the Kings would like you to come back, there's a little bit less than 30 games remaining or something like that. Like, take your time.
You just paid him, too. You don't want him to get even more
injured. This season, it's hard not to feel like a lost season for Keegan Murray, and he probably looks at it that way. There's still some value to be had from the end of this season, but we'll get there. You still got a couple months left, so take it easy.
No rushing back.
Maybe come back after the All-Star break. We'll see. If we get an update on Keegan Murray's status, we'll let you know. TC, I see you on hold. I know you want to talk about the Kings, Raptors, Jakob Poeltl, Domantas Sabonis trade. We're going to dive into that a lot at noon. So I'm going to encourage you, TC, to either hold on for that entire time, which is almost 2 hours, or give us a call back, my man, because we're really going to dive into it then. I don't want to get sidetracked too much with that conversation yet, because coming up next, we're going to talk about Darren Peterson. You felt pretty passionately, Kayla, about Darren Peterson not playing in the second half of BYU. Well, he heard you and that criticisms because he played against Texas Tech the entire game last night. We'll talk about his performance coming up next.
Listen to the #1 sports lineup in Sacramento.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Matt George, and Kayla Anderson. The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles.
Every weekday live and local 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Online at sacktownsports.com or download the app right on your phone. Your #1 source for all your Northern California sports. Sactown Sports 1140.
If you're serious about your golf game, then you need to know about Total Game Fitting at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Whether it's the TrackMan-powered player performance studio for your best fit clubs, or the cutting-edge technology putter fitting studio, or the free Ballnamic ball fitter and 3D foot scanner, the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop offers you total game fitting from head to toe with equipment and apparel. Find your advantage at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop with the latest offering of new golf products in Northern California. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Join Sactown Sports downtown before every Kings game and pick up an In Shape Fitness Kings Rally towel while supplies last. If you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong. Start the year strong and join today at InShape.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, inviting you to come join them every Wednesday for their midweek madness drawing, giving away $2,000 in total cash starting at 6 p.m. It's a safe and friendly environment, plenty of well-lit parking available, and it's conveniently located right there in downtown Sacramento. And remember, best food, best service, best games, 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to Capital Capital-Casino.com and gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hurry in and save big during Honda's President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
If you're still feeling the feels about the Keon Ellis trade, hey, this is still a safe space for you. Feel free to call in 916-339-1140, 800-920-1140. You can be like TC, and shout out TC. He's not on hold anymore, but I sincerely hope TC calls back at noon because we're going to dive really into this very intriguing, interesting, multi-layered Domantas Sabonis to Toronto Raptors conversation. I'm at a war with myself internally about this, Kayla, because it feels like there's obviously a lot of substance there. So these conversations are past just being preliminary, hey, are you interested? Okay, there's a structure there, but there's a very, very key piece of this deal that the Kings aren't budging on, that the Raptors are kind of budging on, but not fully budging on, and that's where this entire thing's going to be held up. So we can work together to kind of talk through who should budge, how much the Kings should budge, what do they do with the Jakob Poeltl contract in that situation.
They're definitely in talks.
And like I go back and forth like, man, I think this is going to get done. And it's like, but how do you get past the speed bump? But I think it's going to get done. But how do you get past the speed bump? I've been at war about that.
It's who wants it more is really what it comes down to. And I think, and again, we'll get to that a little bit later, but just a quick thought on that. I just think this is where you have to be smart because Domantas Sabonis right now is still the best player on your team.
Yeah.
And so you cannot just give him away.
Sure.
Because this is different now because you did get rid of one of those veteran contracts.
Yes.
Would you like to get rid of more? Yes. But you can't just give Domantas Sabonis away.
And a big part of the conversation too is the Kings are getting off of Domas's money, but the Raptors are getting the best player on the deal that they want because they're looking for a playoff pick. So who's benefiting the most, therefore who should give up the most, right? That's a big part of this conversation too. So we will dive in at noon to the Toronto Raptors Domantas Sabonis trade at 1 o'clock. My buddy, my partner from ABC 10, Kevin John, my best friend for life, he's going to be joining me and joining Kayla here. He's in the Bay Area covering the Super Bowl. He'll give us a lay of the land, everything that's going on down there. And Kayla, you probably haven't met Kevin yet.
No, I've seen some of his stuff, but
buckle up.
I have not met. He's got a lot of energy.
He is a walking energy drink, and
I don't know how he has that much energy.
I don't either.
It's amazing to me.
And I love talking to Kevin, so I'm very excited to have him on the show for the first time.
Funny side note about that, I kind of live over by the ABC 10 station, and we've seen Kevin John just walk, like we're not right there, but we've seen Kevin John walking around our neighborhood, and we're like, what?
Yeah, Kevin.
That's hilarious. Like just taking a break and doing a walk.
Like he goes on these like long walks around the community around ABC 10 in between his segments. I'm just like, is that Kevin John? Like we'll look out the window, just be like, is that Kevin John?
Kevin is a special cat, and I loved every bit of being able to work with him. That was the hardest part of leaving was leaving my partner behind. But I'm excited to have him on the show for the first time. Again, that's coming up at 1 o'clock. But Kayla, I thought you brought the heat at the end of yesterday's show, and I was almost mad. I was like, Matt, you idiot. Why are we waiting so long to talk about this? The A.J. Debonsa versus Darren Peterson game, BYU versus Kansas that happened over the weekend. And most people, their takeaway from that game was there's no doubt about it. Peterson's the number one overall pick. Like he balled out in the first half of that game. And then he didn't play the final 16 some odd minutes because of cramps, and he's really not been able to finish any games. And you felt a certain type of way about that. For those of you for those that didn't listen, and you're not alone on this because there was a lot of national media that started saying the same things. What was it about that just grinded your gears?
Yeah, first of all, I am more of an old school personality. I grew up with a grandpa that was a Marine, another grandpa who was super strict, was really raised kind of a little bit by my grandparents on both sides for a portion of my life.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little bit of an old school mentality sometimes. And so when I think work and I think ethic in terms of work ethic,
yep.
I think you're out there, you're doing the work, and yeah, you might be a special talent, no doubt about it. But I want to see a little bit more out of you, even if you know you are that guy. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest thing with Darren Peterson is no doubt about it. He is, I think, the best player in this year's draft class. Just sit down and watch one game and you'll see that.
Right.
But it does bother me a little that he had only played one game up to that point this season. And it's just like, show us something more. And I get there's things behind the scenes that we don't know about.
Sure.
But from an outsider's perspective, that's going to cause GMs to have a very particular conversation with him no matter what once it comes draft time.
Mm-hmm.
So that just kind of grinded my gears because it's like, oh, we loved him. Everything he did in the first half. But then he was out with cramps, but like he wasn't really, I don't think had like cramps. I don't know. It just didn't seem like he was sitting there with cramps.
Yeah, it's happening consistently enough to where there is that natural speculation of, are you really hurting? Or are you just protecting yourself? Or are you?
And it might not even be his idea to protect himself.
Sure.
It might be his.
It could be agent related. It could be, yeah, but it's also like, are you about you or are you about the team? Which does make people feel a certain type of way. But Kyle brought up a great point too. It's like, hey, you don't want to get too much in the weeds of that trap of like making
overthinking
a mound out of a molehill. Is that what it's called or whatever? A mountain out of a molehill.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like you don't want to overthink it and talk yourself out of Darren Peterson, who's the number one overall pick, because you're afraid of. But your concerns were echoed by a lot of national media members. It's like, brother, we know you balled out in the first half. We tuned in to see for you play a whole game against AJ. AJ didn't play as well as you, but he played the entire time. And you, once again, didn't play in the second half. Like, what's going on? And I think that either got back to Peterson or resonated with him a little bit, because here he is going down to the wire. He played 35 minutes last night for Kansas in their 64-61 win against Texas Tech. Didn't have the greatest of performances, 19 points to lead his team in scoring, but 5 of 14 from the field, 3 of 7 from three-point range. Didn't score very much in the second half, but did have 2 clutch three-pointers to ultimately help Kansas win the game. I just thought it was interesting and also smart by Peterson. Hey, people are picking up a little bit that I'm not playing as much as maybe I should.
Right.
And whether it's genuine, because he talked about after the game and he said it was a blessing to be, he was finally able to finish a game and it was a blessing. He felt good enough to finish a game.
Yeah, I watched.
I'm not going to try and call the dude a liar or anything like that, but that skepticism that people have is healthy and I think justified when we saw how good you were in that first half and now all of a sudden you're not playing in the second half because you don't really need to, because you showed what you wanted to show. Like, it's easy to imagine someone going to him at halftime and going, dude, you just showcased you're the number one overall pick. You showcased you're better than AJ DeBonsa. The only thing that could happen is at this point you make it worse by playing poorly in the second half.
Yeah.
Why don't you just rest? Like, I understand that approach from him, but I also understand people having a problem if that were the approach.
And it's also his decision in the end.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, buzz the heck off, person A, person B. Like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to play at least a little bit in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I get the stakes, though. I get it. I get what it means. But I think what happened, like you said, in a game like that, like, yeah, have we caught bits and pieces of Darren Peterson this year? Absolutely, especially if you're here in Sacramento, because he could very well be coming here.
Yep.
But that was a national televised game with 2 of the best that are in this year's draft class. So, of course, there were going to be so many more eyes on that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that people had similar thoughts to me in that situation. Like, no taking away from his talent, but I'm sorry, you're stupid if you don't bring up any of those questions.
It felt like an AAU showcase. Hey, he showcased what he could do because they just gave him the ball and gave him the green light and said, get out of the way in the first half. He showcased what he needted to, and the second half was just like, all right, there's nothing more to show.
Right, and then he's on the bench like, you have cramps, but like you're not getting a banana from your trainer, or you're not getting
mustard packets.
Yeah, just something. It was just very weird. But I will say this. I did watch the game last night.
Mm-hmm.
And while it was a little underwhelming by Darren Peterson, which, by the way, he admitted he was not playing great last night.
Yep.
I liked it more for the fact that when he actually had to turn it on because he played the whole game. He turned it on and made the two biggest shots at the end of the game, like pressure heater or cooker. And there he is doing his thing. And that showcased another part of his, like, he is clutch in the clutch moments, which I love to see, but he played the whole game.
It wasn't a perfect game, and yet he was still the best player on the court.
Right.
And that you learn from that. You learn a lot from games like that. And I think when it comes to March Madness time, because Kansas will be there.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone expects Kansas to make a deep run. I think that's when it's going to be really interesting of like, did the cramps come back? And I'm not trying to suggest, I'm not a doctor, I'm not there. I'm not trying to suggest that he's making all this up because I don't know. So I don't want to speculate too much. It's just awful convenient. And it's easy to connect dots. And I know we are not the only ones in this country doing it. And I say that wholeheartedly knowing that if the Sacramento Kings, if you told me the Kings had the number 1 overall pick right now, I'm saying draft Darren Peterson.
Yeah.
He is the number 1 overall pick. And I love AJ DeBonsa. But how he performs when the games mean the most, it's the biggest stage in college basketball, March Madness. Mm-hmm. And if this is the route that he goes, whether it's injury related or personality related, I won't say it will turn me off to the idea of Peterson in Sacramento, but there'll be more pause than there was before. Let's put it that way.
I'm going to say one more thing. I also am interested. I've seen him talk a lot after pressers. He's a little bit of an introvert, Darren Peterson is. Mm-hmm. He's not like a rah-rah guy, which I'm not saying you need that.
Sure.
However, he is coming into an organization that is going to build around him. And so it will be, even if the Kings draft him and you have that talent here, there's going to be a growing period for him too.
Sure.
Because he's got to become that player as well.
Right.
That is like, knowing, hey, it's built around me, and this isn't just in college where I'm a one and done and I barely have to play.
Yeah.
Like, this is an actual franchise where you've got hundreds of thousands of fans relying on you. Like, you're going to have to grow, too, at the NBA level.
For sure. And, I mean, we've seen personality. De'Aaron Fox was a very pretty, I wouldn't call him introverted necessarily, but he wasn't, like, necessarily an alpha boisterous personality. But the Kings have guys like that on this roster. Yeah. I think, and I have no problem with Malik Monk remaining here. If Malik Monk is still a King and Malik Monk is taking Darren Peterson under his wing to some extent, hey man, I'm all for that. I'm still very much all for Darren Peterson in a Kings jersey. Love the idea of AJ DeBonsa as well. We're going to take a break from the basketball talk because last night was the Super Bowl opening night. There were plenty of comments and, of course, lots of football talk. But some of the best quotes from last night have nothing to do with football. Silly things that these players talked about. We'll share with you some of those best clips, funniest clips from opening night of the Super Bowl coverage coming up next right here on Matt and Kayla.
Listen to the #1 sports lineup in Sacramento.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Matt George, and Kayla Anderson. The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles.
Every weekday live and local 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Online at SactownSports.com or download the app right on your phone. Your #1 source for all your Northern California sports. Sactown Sports 1140.
At Stockton Honda, we know how to honor a great deal. Like right now during our President's Day sales event. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, you can find star-spangled savings on some of our best models. Why not stop in today and see for yourself? Come celebrate at Stockton Honda and get huge savings on our giant selection. Plus top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sepp Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sepp Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sepp's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
You remember me from a show called And Joe? I'm back on the radio, Sacramento. It's Joe Mommy, and when you need your new country fix, join me weekdays from 6 to 10 for the Pat and Cody with Joe show on New Country 105.1 KNCI or on the free KNCI app.
Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
The trade deadline week gives me life. We got a banger. Oh, we got breaking news.
Yes, we do.
When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sactown Sports breaking news.
From Shams Charania of ESPN. No, that has nothing to do with the Kings. Calm down, everybody. The Memphis Grizzlies are trading star forward Jaren Jackson Jr., also John Conchar, Jacques Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. to the Utah Jazz for Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, Georges Niang, and 3 future first-round picks.
Well, baby.
Look, I love me Jaren Jackson Jr. I love that player. The Utah Jazz was not the destination I had in mind.
You like jazz?
For the Memphis Grizzlies to send him to and the team to really make a push. But let me tell you, Utah Jazz first-round picks are valuable. Not as valuable as the Kings, because the Jazz sometimes can be relevant and competent. I did not have them in the Jaren Jackson Jr. sweepstakes, and I see a lot of people in the comment section go, "What the hell? What are the Grizzlies doing?" They're blowing it up, man.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Rebuilding, and they're doing what they probably should be doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had known Jaren Jackson Jr. was truly fully available.
I don't think
maybe you could have gotten more than 3 firsts.
Well, we got to figure out which 3 firsts.
True, we got to know what those 3 firsts are.
Also, Taylor Hendricks is a lottery pick from 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, this is a good trade for the Utah Jazz. We'll see about the picks, but the Utah Jazz are ready to rumble. I mean, they've. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't think it's going to be this year, but next year, look out for the Utah Jazz. I'm excited for my boy David Locke, the voice of the Utah Jazz in the radio broadcaster for the Utah Jazz in Utah, hosts Locked On Jazz. He's probably losing his mind right now in a great way. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a defensive powerhouse. What a great pickup for the Utah Jazz.
Remember how we joked about the Kings having the 8 guard lineup? The Jazz now have the 8 power forward lineup.
Score on this! Well, Lauri Markkanen's not the greatest defender on the planet, but Jaren Jackson Jr. has been.
Well, good news. Lauri Markkanen's their shooting guard now.
Honestly, whatever. You want size, you get size.
It's interesting, like, we talk about the Utah Jazz and how they were more of the team that was rebuilding and, like, not really a contender, and then all of a sudden, Jaren Jackson comes into the conversation, which, by the way, John Morant was the focus of a Grizzly trade. Jaren Jackson was not involved or mentioned, from what I had seen, as much or even nearly as much as Ja Morant.
But Ja doesn't have a market.
Right.
Jackson Jr. did.
But he does. And so Memphis already has, they've got a good plethora of picks as it is. And so now adding 3 more first rounders, what signals, yes, a rebuild, but with Ja too?
So they got 4 picks, right, in the Desmond Bane trade?
Technically, yes. One pick swap, too.
One pick swap as well.
By the way, Bobby Marks is just saying Memphis now has 13 firsts in the next 7 years.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They have a boatload of firsts. So is there another? I'm just confused still. Like, if it is a complete blow up, don't you have to move Ja at some point?
Well, they want to.
They're trying to.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
At this point now, look, I'll take dimes on the dollar for Ja. I just sent Jaren Jackson Jr. out of there.
And that's maybe the point.
I've got 11 first rounders in the next 7 years.
13.
13 first rounders in the next 7 years?
I'll phrase it differently. They have the same number of first-round picks as OKC in the next 7 years.
They went the Sam Presti route. Look, I'm not saying just give Ja Morant away, but if he wants to go to whoever the hell for whatever the hell, fine.
That's a good point.
Like, if I can get a first for Ja Morant, signing me up at this point.
And I think that's the next move at some point.
You're going full blowout route. You're like, yes, good on the Memphis Grizzlies and that, right? And good on the freaking Utah Jazz. I see people saying, like, Danny Ainge should be fired. Why? Jaren Jackson Jr. is a beast.
He's a great player.
I love that man.
He's a great player.
That is a huge pickup for the Utah Jazz.
This is just a random aside note that I realized this probably makes it unlikely they're bringing back Walker Kessler. I know they've kind of had, like, contract back and forth with him, but I don't see them putting $48 million to Markkanen and Jaren Jackson and giving Walker Kessler a big contract. But that doesn't matter. You know, they got Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson Jr. next to Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George is going to be perfect.
Where are the Jazz at right now?
They're out of the playoff picture in the West. So this is more for next year, I believe.
Next year,
They're gonna essentially try this out and workshop some things and get comfortable together for the rest of this year. Maybe make a play-in run.
Yeah.
Let me take a look.
That's the other really interesting thing that the Jazz have right now. I'm pulling up our friendly tankathon. So the Jazz, their pick is top 8 protected. Right now, they have the 6th worst record in the league.
Yeah.
So
they're going to lose games.
Yes, but I think if you look at the pick odds right now, they currently have like, I think it's like a 50-50 shot at keeping the pick right now, something like that. So they're kind of in the weird position of like, do we go down? Do we go up?
But
how does this work?
Maybe I'm just overreacting because I love Jaren Jackson Jr. so much, but if I'm the Utah Jazz, if I lose that coin flip 50-50, I lose out my pick, so freaking what? I've got my core. You've got your core 3. You've got your group. Like this Jazz team going forward, I think is incredibly enticing, really interesting. Just so we know for context purposes, the Jazz are 15-35. They are 8 games back of the 10th and final play-in spot, which is held by the Trailblazers right now. So it's not impossible ground to make up. That's a big hole to climb out of. So this trade ain't about this year.
Yeah, it's about moving forward.
This is an audition. They're going to, or not even an audition. This is just, hey, the rest of this season is just about getting you guys as comfortable together as possible. If we win games because of it, hell yeah, we're ahead of schedule. But like, I remember, this is a very loose comparison, but I'm using my Kings brain here. The Kings, when they went out and initially traded for Domantas Sabonis, they traded Tyrese Halliburton for Domantas Sabonis. As we know, grand scheme of things, not a great trade at this point after everything that has played out. But immediately we saw improvement from the Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis played really well together right out the gate, and it gave us hope and excitement for the next year, which ended up being the Beam Team year when they made the playoffs that year. So that's a loose comparison to if I'm the Utah Jazz, I'm looking at the rest of this year going, we got Jaren Jackson Jr. here. We got all these groups together. Let's just see what it looks like. Get these guys comfortable. Next year, we're expecting to be a playoff team in the West.
It's a great time to experiment. We talk about how the Kings need to experiment right now with some things, and I think they might do that with DeAndre Hunter, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's a great time to do just that. The chat, by the way, real quick, is very it's going against you, Matt.
Well,
it's going against you. They
what
don't
else is
see
new?
your obsession with Jaren Jackson Jr.
Y'all are insane. He's an unbelievable defender.
Overrated.
What?
Yeah.
What?
That's what I'm seeing here.
If Jaren Jackson Jr. were on the Sacramento Kings, we would be throwing parties in the streets. Jaren Jackson Jr. is what the Sacramento Kings have needed forever. He's a beast of defender, can space the floor. Jaren Jackson Jr. is everything you want next to Domantas Sabonis. Everything you want.
I like him, not as much as you supposedly.
I love him.
But I thought it was interesting.
If you did create a player for what is the perfect 4 pairing with Sabonis, it's Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Which, guess what? You know what Utah kind of has now? Filipowski, which is doing the same things as Sabonis, just not as good.
Yep.
I love this trade for Utah. Y'all went for it and you built a core, but those 3 picks are Kyle.
Okay. So if we ignore the salary fillers and players that won't be on either team in 2 years, here's the trade: Jaren Jackson Jr. for Walter Clayton, Taylor Hendricks, 3 first. Kyle Anderson might still be there.
Oh, poor Kyle.
But yeah, been traded 4 times in the last year.
That's Kayla's cousin.
Yeah.
Yes. And 3 first-round picks. This is from Jake Fisher. The Utah Jazz are trading the best 2027 first between Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah. So whichever team has the best pick, that goes to Memphis. They are trading the Lakers 2027 first to Memphis, which they got from the Russell Westbrook salary dump years ago. And they are sending unprotected 2031 Phoenix Suns first-round pick to Memphis.
That pick could be doo-doo. I mean, doo-doo as in the Suns will be doo-doo,
yes,
so it's a good pick.
A potentially promising pick down the line. So the Grizzlies add 2 first-round picks next year and the 2031, 2 could be good first. I mean, Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah all hope they're in the playoffs, but could be good picks next year, and the Lakers pick, and Phoenix's future first.
The Jazz now have a core of Keontae George, Ace Bailey. Forgot about him, too. Ace Bailey.
I mean, he's been pretty tough this year. He's having a tough year.
Kind of a rough year, but he's number 4.
I think he's the only top 9 pick not in the Rising Stars game.
Yeah, that's a little rough. But Ace Bailey, Lowry Markkanen, Jaren Jackson Jr., Keontae,
and Filipowski.
Kyle's obsessed with Filipowski.
Sure.
Filipowski's going to be their starting center next year. You watch.
Great. Good for him. I like this move for the Jazz. Chat, you can call me crazy. I love Jaren Jackson Jr. I think he's absolutely a winning basketball player. I think the Utah Jazz have immediately...
I think it could be a good fit there.
...rocketed themselves. Like, the Jazz were in the position that the Kings were in last year, where they were tanking, essentially, for Cooper Flagg. They got one of the worst picks they could possibly get. They fell to 4. And... Oh, they fell all the way to 5. That's right. They fell to 5. So
they were the situation the Kings fans are praying they're not in this year.
Please, not us, not us. Don't let it happen to us.
I'm just more interested now in what Memphis will do to get Ja out of there.
Boy, I am.
And how fast.
I'm very curious what the Ja market is like. Yeah. Do the Minnesota Timberwolves come knocking again and go, hey, we know you're donezo. Here's just a pick or something.
Just as a reference point, so Memphis right now currently has their pick and Orlando's this year. So they got 2 this year. Yep. 3 next year, I believe 3 in 2028, and then 2, and 3, I think is how it breaks down.
As of right now, Memphis has the 9th best odds at the number 1 overall pick, a 20.3% chance of moving into the top 4, a 4.5% chance of winning outright. Orlando's pick is literally 1 spot outside the lottery at 15.
Okay.
So Memphis, I like this for Memphis. They've gone full Scott Presti. Or Sam Presti, excuse me, Scott Presti. Sam Presti reset of acquiring assets, and I love this for the Utah Jazz. I'm very excited to watch them while the Sacramento Kings are stinky over the next couple of years. Man, the trade deadline gives me life. I got energy. I'm so excited to talk more about this trade. More trades to come. We'll dive into a potential Domantas Sabonis Toronto Raptors deal. We're waiting for that shams bomb to drop if it ever happens. But next, we'll talk about the newest King that we know is going to be here in Sacramento. We don't know if he's going to be playing tomorrow night against the Grizzlies or not, but DeAndre Hunter, what's his fit look like in Sacramento? And I've got some numbers to talk about the type of player that he has been and is this season. That's all coming up to start the second hour of Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger, Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Flo here to say drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
Nice. With my new savings, I'll get some hiking gear. It'll be great for my outdoor era.
I don't know if it counts as an era if you just buy stuff.
I got a cute hiking backpack. It's an outdoor era.
Well, you only bought one thing. I don't think it's an era.
Well, I think we're in a agree to disagree era.
Yeah, sure, you're probably right. Anyway, with the money you could save by switching to Progressive, you can afford to switch to other things in life. It's
my savings era.
Also, everything you do is not an era.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sactown Sports 1140. It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
We got our NBA back. This is real NBA. This is NBA trade deadline, baby.
It is.
F your aprons.
It is coming through a little bit because it was real boring.
Oh,
real boring.
It's my favorite time.
Oh,
I
no.
love the NBA trade deadline.
Now we got to cut Matt just grunting then.
Don't care. Don't care. Cut whatever you want. Nothing will kill the high of the NBA trade deadline, giving us moments like this, man. Oh, boy. Also, I do understand from a Kings fan standpoint, too. It's like the timing is just so unfair because if the Memphis Grizzlies were bad 1 year earlier and Jaren Jackson Jr. was potentially available, if Monty McNair or Vivek or whatever had thrown 3 first-round picks at the Grizzlies to bring Jaren Jackson Jr. in like a year or two ago, Kings would have been perfect. De'Aaron Fox, Jaren Jackson Jr., Domantas Sabonis, are you kidding me?
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Oh! It hurts.
Timing wasn't there.
It hurts. But
now you can watch him with the Jazz, Matt.
I will watch reluctantly, but I will watch.
Could the Jazz then trade for Domantas Sabonis to pair him?
Oh, jeez.
Sure. Give us.
I mean, never say never.
Give us one of those suckers and let's figure this out.
I literally don't think they can.
I don't care. We'll figure it out. Open the trade machine. We're derailing the rest of the show. Well. What if
the trade machine hasn't even updated yet? We can't even do it.
The trade machine is broken. It's like, what is happening?
Trade machine doesn't even have Jaren Jackson on the Jazz yet.
Not yet.
If you just missed, if you're just tuning in, Blockbuster Trade the Utah Jazz just got Jaren Jackson Jr. for essentially 3 first-round picks. There's a lot of other players involved in it, too.
8-player trade.
And I don't mean to be...
You don't disrespect Walter Clayton Jr.
I will.
In this situation.
Because it's Jaren Jackson Jr. for 3 first-round picks. That's what this trade is. And I like it for both sides. I like what the Memphis Grizzlies are doing. I think they're doing it right. Hey, guys, check this out. The Memphis Grizzlies just traded their franchise player for multiple first-round picks to reset their franchise. Imagine if the Kings had done that last year. That would have been better, huh?
Yeah. And unfortunately, the players that the Kings have right now, they just aren't as, I guess, wanted as a JJJ is.
Dear Monty McNair, take notes, Pat. Well, it's not even Monty. Dear Vivek Ranadive, dear anybody, take notes. When you trade your franchise player because it's not working, the timeline is broken, you're supposed to get enough to reset your franchise. Now, I don't think De'Aaron Fox was going to get 3 first-round picks. He's not the reigning defensive player of the year or anything like that. But, well, neither is Jaren Jackson Jr., right? He's won it once or twice. I don't remember. He is a former defensive player of the year. Regardless, you should have gotten at least 2 first-rounders for De'Aaron Fox or something, but...
Well, we can't live in the past. We got to move
they
forward.
technically did.
We can't just sit there and live in the past.
I will perpetually
That is my job right now to tell you
That's all we do
guys
in
that.
Sacramento. 2002, Lakers, Kings, Tim Donaghy.
But it would have been nice.
2002. I mean, hell, the Kings run the organization sometimes based off of that 2002 team. Vlade was here. Peja was here. Mike Bibby's back coaching Sac State. Just bring them all back.
Bobby Jackson's here.
Bobby Jackson is here. We love Bobby. And we love Doug. And we love all of them.
By the way, I did the calculation yesterday after the show. If you follow the winding path of the De'Aaron Fox trade now, the Kings have traded De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, and Jordan McLaughlin for Zach LaVine, Nick Clifford, half a season of Valanciunas, half a season of Laravia, half a season of Dario Saric, and the 2031 Timberwolves first.
Well, that's okay. You know why? Because the DeAndre...
What were you going to say?
I almost said
DeAndre Fox.
I almost said DeAndre Jordan.
Oh,
the DeAndre Hunter era has arrived. Great segue, Matt. DeAndre Hunter is here.
go.
The new face of the Kings. The savior of the franchise, dare I say. No, we're not.
Might be taking a little too far there, but
Just a little bit. I am riding the high of the trade and just bringing unnecessary energy to this conversation. But I do believe, whether you're excited about DeAndre Hunter or not, you're sad about Keon Ellis leaving or not, I do believe that this was not just all right, we'll just take him, whatever. Like, the reason why I feel the Sacramento Kings were willing to take on the more money short term for DeAndre Hunter, we're willing to send out a second-round pick to the Chicago Bulls in order to facilitate this deal. I do believe that Scott Perry is a big fan of Hunter, and in fact, that's not really a hot take from me. You can hear it from Scott Perry himself. Kyle, why don't you fire that clip? This is Scott Perry on his old podcast, the Hoop Genius podcast, back in February.
Don't forget my podcast.
February of 2025, talking about DeAndre Hunter.
I love the move for Cleveland, to be honest with you. I'm a DeAndre Hunter fan. Sat and watched him play many times against us when I was most recently executive with the Knicks. This guy shows up and competes. You know, the only negative I can really say about him is that he's had a little bit of an injury history as well in his career to date. But when healthy, this guy shows up, competes. He's improved every year. He gives you the ability to shoot threes from the perimeter. He can also beat you a little bit off the dribble. I think he has a little bit of toughness with him. He brings some size to that wing position. And I know they were bringing him off the bench here recently in Atlanta, but for a number of years, he was their starter at that small forward position. So as long as he can stay healthy, I believe he is one of those guys who's a smart enough player, and his style of game will be able to fit in and blend in with the two guards they have there, Mitchell and Garland, and then obviously the emergence of Mobley, who has the ball in his hands more now and being more aggressive offensively. To have him there as an outlet on the wing, being able to shoot the ball and then occasionally be able to attack the rim here and there. And I believe he will accept his defensive assignment. I like the move for Cleveland.
So all that context that he just laid out about DeAndre Hunter completely applies to what his role would be in Sacramento. Like, DeAndre Hunter is not here to be a top guy. He's not. He's a complementary piece. And we don't know what he's complementing yet,
Right.
Hopefully we'll know by the end of the draft who he's complimenting specifically. But we do believe that he can, whether it's complement or partner with a Keegan Murray in the front court, that was a big factor or reason for the Kings having interest in this move. But it's very clear that Scott Perry sees a lot of value in Hunter. He didn't just trade for him just for the sake of trading for him because that was the only way he could move on from the Dennis Schroeder contract. In Scott Perry's mind, whether the fan base feels this way or not, he accomplished three things. One, he traded away. He got something for Keon Ellis he was likely to lose for nothing. Granted, that's a circumstance of kind of his own making. Two, he moved on from the Dennis Schroeder contract. Yes, he's the one that signed it initially, but he was able to move on from what ended up ultimately being a mistake. And three, he managed to turn it into a player in DeAndre Hunter who has been on his radar or has been a player that he's been interested in for a while or intrigued by for a while, who also has been a need for this Kings organization for years. So there's a reason to believe that the Kings are very positive, very excited about the trade that they were able to pull off on Saturday.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear him talk about it. I think, for fans, initially, I think people weren't as happy about DeAndre Hunter coming over here just because of the down season in Cleveland. And I think the biggest part is because you got rid of a player here that, granted, might be a little overrated. Maybe if you look at the outside and hearing some of the national media actually now talk about it, I think there's a realization that DeAndre Hunter is actually the best player in the trade.
Yes, he is.
And the Kings got him.
Yes.
I know that's hard for Kings fans to separate themselves a little, but I truly do believe Hunter is the better player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just in terms of his points per game, I know, you can look at his 3-point percentage. It's gone down this year. I think it was at 42.3% last year. This year it's down 30.8. A lot of his numbers are down, right? I don't think it was necessarily the fit in Cleveland that they thought it would be.
Yep.
Coming off the bench, I think we spoke about it yesterday with Danny from Locked On Podcast Cunningham.
Danny Cunningham, yep.
He said it was, for him, he never got in a groove necessarily, and there has been injuries. And I think Scott mentioned it on the podcast too. That's the one thing you hope with him coming here. If we want to see these two play together, they've got to actually both be on the floor together in terms of Keegan Murray and DeAndre Hunter. So hopefully that does not play a factor. But yes, Scott Perry clearly saw something in him that he liked and that he has liked that is might as well try it here in Sacramento. And if it doesn't work, maybe we could even use him as value next year.
Yeah. Danny talked about the circumstances for DeAndre Hunter changed because in the first, call it half a season, I suppose, when he was traded to the Cavs initially, he played really, really well for them. And then this season, his numbers are pretty much down across the board on both sides of the ball, but Danny shared that because of all the injuries and how banged up the Cavs have been, they leaned on him a little heavier in a different kind of role, less of a complimentary role and more of kind of a focal point role. And he struggled in that a bit. Now, Kings fans can take that however way they want. They could be nervous about it. They could be, I guess, feel good about it. But here are some advanced numbers, right? Just some advanced numbers that my guy Will Z helped me come up with and put together. We'll talk about the shooting numbers, some of the defensive numbers, and Kayla, feel free to jump in at any time and tell me how that makes you feel or what that makes you think of. And I have a general conclusion at the end of all this.
Yeah, let's go. Because I feel like when people hear numbers, it's there's a lot at once.
Yes.
So with each number, we can kind of react to it just because I know numbers coming at is a lot.
Here's the shooting numbers. This season, the most consistent shot attempt that DeAndre Hunter is taking is the catch and shoot three. He shoots the catch and shoot three. 37% of the shots he takes is that catch and shoot three. That is his comfort zone. That's what he wants to do.
Yep.
He takes 4 of them a game on average, higher volume than any other shot that he takes. This season, he's shooting 33% on catch and shoot threes.
Okay.
For context, last season, as a whole, not just with Cleveland, but the entire season as a whole, he shot 40% from three-point range on catch and shoot threes. The season before that, 39% from three-point range on catch and shoot threes on the same exact volume.
Okay.
So one season is the outlier.
Yeah.
It's this season. He's having a down shooting year this year, but I don't think that the 30% his 3-point shooting percentage is 30% this year.
Mm-hmm.
His, like we just said, catch and shoot 3-point percentage is 33%. I don't think that's who he is as a player. I think he's going to be a more consistent, better general 3-point threat that the Kings desperately need.
They need. I'm like, the first thing I came to Sacramento with the question in mind is, and I know it's been a thing for a while, like, where is the 3-point shooting on this team?
There is none.
And it's kind of been like
and
that.
Keegan's numbers have fallen off a cliff 3-point shooting wise. He needs to figure that out too, because the Kings need Keegan to knock down that 3 more consistently.
Well, and he can't this year because he's not healthy.
Right, but the Kings clearly need DeAndre Hunter also to knock down that 3-point shot consistently. More often than not in his career, he's been able to do that, which I think is encouraging going forward. However, yes, it is a down year. We can't just ignore it and throw it away.
But he's in a new place.
He is in a new place, a fresh start. I will say the good news is he is a very efficient scorer inside of 10 feet, like around the rim. He converts on 54% of his shots around the rim. So it's not like if he's not hitting threes, he's not giving you anything.
Exactly.
So that's the shooting side of things. But I think it's the defensive side that we kind of figure out who he is as a player, who he's been, where he's at. And I think Kings fans and yourself are probably going to have a lot of reactions to this. Here's the not so good stat. Over the last 5 seasons, in terms of net rating, his team, in terms of defensive rating, his teams have been better defensively with him off the floor.
Okay.
That's each of his last 5 seasons. Not by a tremendous amount, marginal amount, but the numbers show that when he's off the floor defensively, his teams have been better over the last 5 seasons. That is going to set off a lot of alarm bells, a lot of red flags in the heads of Kings. He's supposed to be a good defender. Blah, 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 blah. However, over the last 2 full seasons, his teams have been overall better in terms of net rating with him on the floor. Why? Because of his offense. His offense has actually carried and made up for any deficiencies defensively.
On the defensive side, yeah.
This season, when guarded by DeAndre Hunter, opponents are shooting about 2% better than their average from 3. They're shooting 2% better than their average, period, and 5.3% better on average from 3-point range. So teams are shooting better, higher percentage. Opponents are shooting higher percentage when guarded by DeAndre Hunter this season. However, around the rim, in the paint, they're shooting about 2.4% worse inside of 6 feet. So he's defending the perimeter or the rim on the inside better than the perimeter, which that's not a very good trade-off because we're expecting him to play more defensively on the perimeter.
Well, either him or Keegan.
Yes, but he's a 6'7", 7'2" wingspan wing. You want him to defend the perimeter. That's what he's there to do. He needs to be a better perimeter defender. That's this season, those numbers are down. However, last season, across the board, opponents were all shooting under their average everywhere on the floor when defended by him last season. So it's, again, this season, I think his poor offense is impacting, or his shooting struggles are impacting the way he's playing defense. However, this season, this is a very niche stat, but it's true. In terms of isolation defense and one-on-one scenarios, he's in the 96th percentile. He's the 12th best isolation defender in the NBA.
And Danny talked about that a lot yesterday.
But that doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
We're talking a few scenarios a game, a few possessions a game when that happens. But the overall conclusion of is this. It's a down year for him across the board. He is a very, very solid individual defender. But ultimately, the team defense is not felt as much as his offense needs to be felt. So if he's not hitting shots, it's not going to feel great. That's basically the takeaway. So hopefully he can come to Sacramento, be the defender he's capable of being. He's not going to lock anybody down. It's still Keegan Murray's still the best defender on this team. But if he's knocking down his 3-point shot at the rate that we've seen him at a high 30% rate and catch and shoot threes or close to 40 like he's been in years past, I think it'll be really good for Sacramento. But that's not who he's been for Cleveland this year, which is probably why he was traded.
Yeah, I mean, clearly there was a reason, and I think, new environment, can do miracles for players. It really can. I'm not saying that this is the greatest environment in general right now because this is a losing team and they're not going anywhere. But I also feel like Scott Perry identified DeAndre Hunter, before this year. Like, he's obviously known what he is as a player and is satisfied overall with his body of work. We can't just, speaking of ISO defense, we can't just isolate 1 year and call him an awful player.
Sure.
Like, that's not, DeAndre Hunter is a valuable player still. And, we can get into all the details of why we think he might have had a down year in Cleveland. But now this is actually, for him, probably beneficial to get a fresh start where I think he can be used and we can see him maybe, whether it be when Keegan Murray gets back or, like you said, getting his 3 back in motion. And there's experimental value here right now for a guy like that where the pressure isn't on him to you've got to help us to get to this spot.
Right, fix it.
Yeah, it's more like, hey, fix your game here. Yeah. We're going to give you some runway.
Yeah, get right. And you can be part of what we're doing here. And we want to see what it looks like next to Keegan specifically.
There's no guarantees, but you've got someone who believes in you.
Yep.
And you've got some runway.
Right.
So do with it what you please.
From the YouTube chat line, Paulie Walnuts, he says, he's not a great defender, but is a good offensive player. Sounds like a true Sacramento King to me. I know Paulie's making a joke there. It's not that we're saying he's not a great defender. He's not a great defender.
He's a below average defender.
He's a below average team defender. Isolation, he's above average. When, in terms of his individual defensive responsibility, he does a fairly good job.
Right.
But the team defense has not been positively impacted with him on the floor, which is, we could say the same thing about Keegan.
I know. I'm like, sometimes those numbers aren't.
Though, and again, it's like you're talking about plus minus, and I'm not making an excuse for the guy. The team defensive numbers have to be better, because ultimately, if you're on the floor and you're supposed to be a defensive player, and your team is better defensively when you're not on the floor, there's a problem there.
Especially for Doug Perry.
Yeah.
Or I did it again. Doug
She
Chris
did it again.
teach me how to do it. Dang it! I owe you a freaking energy drink. Oh well, I owe you anyways.
That's the Doug Perry swear jar by
Why?
by Kayla Anderson.
Oh well, it's contagious. So good luck.
I know.
Because now you're gonna get it.
I'm probably gonna say it too.
You caught yourself earlier in the segment.
I did. I almost called him DeAndre Jordan, not DeAndre Hunter.
So that's $3 in the Kayla swear jar.
I don't have cash, so I've got to,
To the energy drinks.
Yeah.
No one carries cash.
It's just a mental tally,
Yeah. But anyway, getting back on track, DeAndre Hunter's on-ball individual defense is encouraging. And more often than not, at least recently, it's been good. It's down this year. But in terms of his team defense and overall team impact, his defense is not terrible. But and it's not even, I wouldn't even call it bad. It's like Kyle said, slightly below average. But if he's knocking down shots while playing the slightly average to below average defense that he plays, he can overall be a net positive player.
Yeah.
And the Sacramento Kings just need more net positive players.
But is this, okay, here's the one question I have though. Because we can't stop talking about defense enough here with Doug Christie.
Nice.
Yes, I thought I had to make sure that came out clearly. Is this though, because you're talking about team defense versus individual defense, is this still something fit-wise for not Scott, but for Doug and what he expects physicality-wise out of players for what he's looking for in the type of defense he wants?
I think so. I mean, just more, I know it's a buzzword here in Sacramento, but more length and athleticism, period, is needed.
Is a bonus.
So that is a direct need that is addressed by this in theory. I mean, just the intangibles, the immeasurables, things that you can't teach height and length and athleticism. And DeAndre
Which
Hunter
he has that.
does apply that.
Yeah.
In terms of fitting the pillars, I mean, time will tell, but the way we hear Scott Perry talk about DeAndre Hunter again before he was running a team and trying to trade for him was he believed that Scott Perry has a type of player, and it sounds like DeAndre Hunter fits that type of player. So I would say the vision, the belief is that, yes, he will be part of the core going forward. He is a fit. And the Sacramento Kings maybe bought low on him when they could, because the Cavaliers gave up a whole heck of a lot more to get him, and things didn't work out, and they moved on from him because they're in a win-now window in the Sacramento Kings. This might be a trade where right now it sucks. So it's like, oh, you had to give up Keon Ellis.
Right.
But if this works out and the Kings sign him to a new deal, 3-4 years from now, we might look back and go, the Kings got DeAndre Hunter for just that. And I don't mean that as a disrespect to Keon Ellis by any means, but the Kings might have taken advantage of the circumstance. I know that is that's a very glass half full way to look at things, and the Kings don't necessarily deserve that benefit of the doubt, but I'm not saying that we can't just write off the trade right now because we have to see how it plays out.
The other part too, Kayla, is whether or not this fits the Doug Christie mold. Better than Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, who are two of the poorest wing defenders in the NBA.
And that's where I was going. Like, those are clearly like the bottom of the barrel right now in terms of defense.
The DeRozan one is interesting because DeRozan, they just hide him on defense. Like, there's numbers that say he's like the most hidden player in the league. Zach LaVine's just bad on defense.
Let me tell you.
Correct.
I mean, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this too. When Keegan Murray comes back, assuming Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are still on the team, no idea about Sabonis, but assuming LaVine and DeRozan are still on the team, which I imagine they're going to be.
Yep.
When Keegan Murray comes back, we already saw Doug Christie not be afraid to move Zach LaVine to the bench.
Correct.
Do it again.
I don't care.
Have DeMar start at the 2, whoever's at the point guard. It's Russ, it's Malik, whoever. Whatever you want to do with the point guard, don't really care at this point. Do not waste our time with DeAndre Hunter's here, but we're going to bring him in off the bench for a limited. No, I want to see Keegan and DeAndre Hunter on the floor together. DeAndre doesn't have to start on Wednesday, tomorrow, against the Memphis Grizzlies if he's cleared to play. I don't even really expect him to.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
But when Keegan comes back, when he's good to go, I want to see those two starting next to each other because if you believe DeAndre Hunter can be that, well, show me. Now's the time.
Well, and there's no excuse not to. Look, they're already in tankathon mode. They're clearly trying to clear out the cupboards. Now, whether or not they can do it with any other players, I have no freaking idea right now. We'll see with Domantas Sabonis, but you're exactly right. Bring DeAndre Hunter, or don't bring him off the bench. Start him, like you said, when Keegan Murray comes back. You got to experiment, and this is the time to do it. And people might get mad for a while, whatever. Who cares? Like, we got to see something.
I think
in terms of the future of what might work and what might not.
Oh, sorry about that, Kayla. I would just add that this year doesn't matter, but personal opinion, in the long run, I kind of think DeAndre Hunter is a backup 3 on a good team.
Probably.
And so it's fine to experiment this year, doesn't matter. But I think long run, if it's Keegan and Hunter alternating minutes and Hunter's at a smaller salary slot, I think that could work great for the Kings when they are ready to compete. Sure. But like you said, right now, who cares? Just figure it out. But Hunter's never been a starting 3 on a good team, so therefore I think he's probably a backup 3 on whatever good version the Kings
And
become.
you're probably right, but I don't care for the rest of this season.
But right now, that's not what we need to worry about.
I want them to play together as much as possible and run it out there and see what it looks like, unless, of course, you trade for R.J. Barrett. Coming up at noon, we're going to talk about the latest from that Domantas Sabonis Toronto Raptors trade, what the hang-up very clearly is and how we get past that, how the Sacramento Kings should budge, how the Raptors should budge. Because I tell you what, if you got R.J. Barrett here and now it's a DeMar DeRozan 2, R.J. Barrett 3, Keegan Murray 4 with DeAndre Hunter coming off the bench, oh my God, the Kings have wing depth. What the hell is that? A couple of years too late. But we'll talk about the Toronto Raptors Domantas Sabonis trade. That could be the next Shams bomb to drop. We are still reeling from the massive trade sending Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Utah Jazz. We're going to have some more breaking news on the other side. Kyle tells me I don't know what it is, but we're also going to hear from Scott Perry's old podcast, not Scott, but the new host of the podcast, talking about the Keon Ellis, DeAndre Hunter trade, and they like it for Sacramento. We'll hear their thoughts and react to it coming up next.
The Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, athletics, and Republic FC with the Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit SactownSports.com to join.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Join Sactown Sports Downtown before every Kings game and pick up an In-Shape Fitness Kings Rally Towel while supplies last. If you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong. Start the year strong and join today at InShape.com.
Tune in every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the Toyota Tahoe Report with Johnny Mosley and me, Elena, bringing you the latest weather conditions up at Tahoe. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
If you're serious about your golf game, then you need to know about Total Game Fitting at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Whether it's the TrackMan-powered player performance studio for your best fit clubs, or the cutting-edge technology putter fitting studio, or the free Ballnamic ball fitter and 3D foot scanner, the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop offers you total game fitting from head to toe with equipment and apparel. Find your advantage at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop with the latest offering of new golf products in Northern California. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
Country in the Park is back. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert. John Party. And more. Line dancing live DJs, Mechanical Bulls, huge festival area, and food trucks. Tickets start at only $68. It's the perfect Valentine's gift. Surprise them with live country music and dancing. Country in the Park, May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center and Hilton Sacramento. For more info, visit CITPFest.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
The trade deadline is trade deadlining. Oh, I'm so happy. None of it has to do with the Kings at the moment.
I know. I'm like, man, I'd be a lot happier if it had to do with the Kings.
But a former King is on the move. Breaking news.
When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sactown Sports Breaking News.
Once again from Shams of ESPN, Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit have agreed to a multi-team deal that sends Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. to the Bulls. Red Velvet, Kevin Huerter, and Dario Saric are headed to the Pistons. Detroit will also receive a 2026 first-round protected pick swap from Minnesota. So Kevin Huerter is going to the number one team in the East. Dario Saric is going to go keep the bench warm in Detroit, I guess.
Dario?
Are they going to have to waive Isaac Jones to do this?
No!
I hope not. No, keep Isaac Jones, move on from Dario Saric. Yeah. But, my friends, as much as we want to talk about that element to it, the Timberwolves just completely, dumped Mike Conley to free up money for a Giannis deal.
Windhorst fingers?
I know James Harden wants to go to Minnesota, but apparently the Timberwolves aren't interested, but now the money's been opened up.
Yeah.
Oh, the trade deadline is trade deadlining, Kayla.
I know. And Giannis, that was one name that came into fruition in the past week. It heated up, I should say, in terms of the Timberwolves, because Giannis supposedly wants to play with Ant. And so maybe these are the baby steps that we're going to get to a trade in 2 days.
Kevin Huerter,
the deadline is there.
Kevin Huerter with the Pistons, I actually really, really like.
I don't know about. I'm gonna admit I don't know much about Kevin Huerter. You guys are obsessed with him here because.
Well, hold on.
I'm joking.
We're not obsessed.
I'm joking.
Kevin Huerter.
But he was here in Sacramento.
Kevin Huerter hit one of the biggest shots in the history of the Golden One Center against the Utah Jazz, who traded for Jaren Jackson Jr. earlier today. This day's been great.
One of the original beam teamers.
One of the original beam teamers.
Made his little mark.
And look, I don't know how many minutes Kevin Huerter is going to play for the number one seed Detroit Pistons, but we were joking. They just got a second Duncan Robinson, basically. So Duncan Robinson shoots a lot, comes out of the game. Kevin Huerter comes in, shoots a lot. Hey, stand on the perimeter and stay the hell out of Cade Cunningham's way, all right? Kevin, you can do that.
He's on a winning team.
I like Kevin.
The best in the East.
I like Kevin a lot. I like him a lot. He's a super good dude, super nice. I'm very happy for him to be playing some super relevant basketball. He's now potentially winning a ring in Detroit, so good for him.
I just saw this in the chat, and it is interesting. Aaron mentioned this, and we're talking about all these pieces right now, and all these trades are coming out in the prime of the day.
Yep.
But it's like not one of these I feel like is going to involve DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar's like, please.
What a sad day.
DeMar's like, Kevin Huerter's going to the freaking Pistons. Keon Ellis is going to Dennis Schroeder's going to the Cavaliers. And I'm stuck here in Sacramento?
Hey, I'm still here.
Guys,
that meme.
Even Dario gets to go to the Pistons.
bro.
That's what I'm saying. Even Dario.
If Dario Saric wins a ring in Detroit,
Yeah.
we're going to see DeMar DeRozan crash out in Sacramento.
Well, technically, you have to
somewhere.
play a game to get a ring, so.
Well,
It's just, it's funny because it's like, what will it take to get DeMar to go somewhere?
By the way, Kayla, this isn't even the end of the Kings connections in this trade, too, because in the summer of 2022, the Sacramento Kings had the 4th pick in the NBA draft, and there were 2 choices. Technically 3, but 2 choices.
I like where you're going.
It was either Keegan Murray or Jaden Ivey. And it was reported without being reported that Jaden Ivey did not want to play for the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, yeah. So
Too bad, pal.
In part, I think because like his mom played for the Detroit WNBA team.
Cool.
But also didn't really want to come play in Sacramento.
Hey, you know what, Jaden Ivey? Enjoy the Chicago Bulls, my friend. Enjoy the Sacramento Kings version of the Eastern Conference.
There you go.
Meanwhile, the Sacramento Kings just extended.
A little colder there.
Just extended Keegan Murray. Gave Keegan Murray a second good contract. So, Kings, I knew all along, and I said all along, Keegan Murray was the absolute right pick. He continues to be the right pick. No shade to Jaden Ivey, but that conversation is over. It's dead. The Kings did the absolute right thing, drafting Keegan Murray.
They did do
4th
something
overall. They did
right?
something right. Oh, I'm so happy.
RGHT?
I'm so happy. Oh, I'm so happy.
Dang.
I love the trade deadline.
So Jaden Ivey also is a restricted free agent at the end of the year. So the Bulls essentially said, we'll take Jaden Ivey, and Mike Conley, whatever. We'll take Jaden Ivey and have a chance at extending him instead of Kevin Huerter, who was just going to run out at the end of the year and leave in free agency.
And they have Giddey over there. That's the new face of their franchise. They're trying to get someone to take Kobe White, who I would love Kobe White in Sacramento, but apparently he's not worth. They're asking for a first-round pick for him.
How would they still not trade Ayo Dosunmu?
I don't know.
How is he still there?
The Bulls and the Kings, man, it's just the Spider-Man meme. Just keep pointing at each other.
But now they have Jaden Ivey, who was supposed to be a Sacramento King.
Hooray, good for them.
Well, he's not.
All right, let's get back to the DeAndre Hunter conversation a little bit as we're waiting for that Shams bomb that involves the Sacramento Kings. Could the next Shams bomb involve...
Or Giannis.
Well, Giannis too, that's for sure. More of the world is waiting for Giannis, but selfishly we're waiting for potentially a Toronto Raptors Domantas Sabonis Shams bomb to drop. We're going to talk about that in detail at noon during our lunch break segment, and there's so much going on. I know y'all want to react to it, so get ready to call in at noon. 916-339-1140, 800-920-1140. But we played for you a clip from back in 2025 when Scott Perry was not the general manager of the Kings. He was on the Hoop Genius podcast, and he was talking about the acquisition of DeAndre Hunter by the Cleveland Cavaliers, talking about how much he liked it. Well, even after Scott Perry and BJ Armstrong, his assistant GM, left the Hoop Genius podcast, that podcast has continued. And they spoke on Scott Perry's trade for DeAndre Hunter, and obviously they're friends. They know each other, but they were big fans of the deal for Sacramento.
I don't care about the money part of it because I'm a coach. I care about the basketball part of it because the job of a coach and a front office person is to make your team better. I think Cleveland might have reacted financially on this. Good for them. But the Sacramento Kings smashed it. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's a fabulous player, an NBA starter, to get him for 2 non-starters and guys that weren't getting a lot of minutes and weren't helping you win.
They got the best player in the trade. They got all the players in the trade. I would take DeAndre Hunter over Schroeder or Ellis or Saric.
Well, all 3 players don't play, basically, much for the Kings, who have the worst record in the league. Okay, so now you got yourself a starter, in my opinion. Okay, you can plug him in tonight and he can start. That's a really good trade. He's a younger player, so he has a future. I think it's all part of what Scott and BJ, especially Scott's whole premise and his whole philosophy, his blueprint on how to develop and grow an organization. I think it fits perfectly in line.
So again, Scott Perry's former podcast, There's obviously friendships and connections there.
Yeah, I get
so
that.
I didn't expect them to go on and go, wow, this idiot, what is he doing?
Yeah.
So take everything with a little bit of an understanding of that's their boy they're talking about a little bit too. But the main chunk of this that I really wanted to react to, Kayla, and I don't want this to come off as disrespectful towards Keon Ellis in any kind of way, because I'm not trying to be that, because I'm a fan of Keon Ellis, and I wholeheartedly believe that the Sacramento Kings over the last couple of seasons have mishandled Keon Ellis, and I don't understand why they've made the decisions. That being said, let's stop pretending that Keon Ellis is a better basketball player than DeAndre Hunter. Let's just stop. Yeah. Full stop. He's not. Maybe he can be. Maybe he can be for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And ultimately, what's more important is you're talking about players that, in theory, are supposed to be, at best, as role players or rotational players of a team that hopefully wins. And if the Cleveland Cavaliers win more basketball games because of Keon Ellis than because of DeAndre Hunter, if Keon Ellis helps them win a championship better than DeAndre Hunter does, then in their mind, regardless of who's more talented or not, does not matter, because Keon Ellis helped them win basketball games. That's what's more important here. But the idea that we're talking about DeAndre Hunter is not as good of a basketball player as Keon Ellis, that is completely fueled by the bias and love that Sacramento Kings fans have for Keon. It's okay for you to love Keon, but just be honest with yourselves. DeAndre Hunter is a better, more skilled, taller, longer, more athletic basketball player. Yeah. We'll see how Keon does in Cleveland. But there's no beating around the bush with it.
No, I mean, I think, it's hard sometimes when you become a fan of a player. And I do this with a lot of my teams too. You have to take yourself out of the equation sometimes and look at the bigger picture and then really give a fair shot to both players. Mm-hmm. And I think why I liked the clip from the podcast, and I believe that was Brendan Surr that was speaking on that about the Keon Ellis versus DeAndre Hunter, who's a better player. And you're right. Let's see what happens in Cleveland, where Keon is going to get more minutes. Granted, something crazy happens. He's also looking to be a part of the future for that team. So maybe he will impress us, and maybe DeAndre Hunter doesn't impress us here. But right now, in terms of body of work, DeAndre Hunter is the better player. Mm-hmm. And I think really they weren't going to see any more time in terms of fans out of Keon Ellis here. Mm-hmm. Like it just was decided, whether that was his decision or Scott Perry's decision or Doug's, it doesn't matter. The theme was Keon Ellis was just not playing a lot. And so now I think you're going to at least get a dedicated answer to some of like what DeAndre Hunter could be, because they are going to play him. Now, like he is going to be a part of the team right now.
Right. And now having laid everything out like we just did, if your response then as a Kings fan is, well, why the hell are the Kings taking back the best player in the deal? That doesn't make sense for them right now. That is a fair argument and a fair question.
Yeah, because this year's is a waste.
But I think that Scott believes that not only was DeAndre Hunter the best player in the deal, and this was how he could acquire or essentially buy low on Hunter. Mm-hmm. I do genuinely believe Scott Perry feels that DeAndre Hunter will be around for longer than the length of his current contract. Yeah. I do believe so. I think Scott Perry made this acquisition knowing we'll pay him whatever's left for this year. We'll pay him the $25 million that he's owed next year, with the expectation that we're going to sign him to a new deal because we believe he's going to fit off the bench as that rotational wing that we need more of. This is a piece of the puzzle for when we're coming out of this rebuild 2-3 years from now, or however long it takes. Right. Hunter is a piece of that team that is now breaking into the playoffs and is perpetually a playoff team. That's how I believe he feels about DeAndre Hunter. Time will tell if he's right.
I mean, it has to be somewhat logical, right? Because you also are you're doing the player situation where you're giving away a guy that's a little bit younger in Keon Ellis, who's 26, and I think there was also criticism of bringing in a 28-year-old DeAndre Hunter. Look, he's not on his last limbs of basketball life by any means. Like, he's still got plenty of basketball ahead of him in terms of Hunter. So I think it's just more so, though, the fit right now. You had that logjam of guards, and you had that issue, and now that's it. I think like the first order of business, honestly, was like trying to free up all of that, and that's got to be reset too. But adding to positions that you needed a little bit more size and depth at, Hunter is a piece that works or makes sense right now.
You added depth while moving on from a veteran contract that you clearly didn't have a future with. So again, time will tell if it's a good trade or not, but I understand why Scott Perry did it. When we come back after the break, it's time to pick a side. You're listening to Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SOUND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SOUND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SOUND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Maida Subaru says yes to big savings on the new Subaru you want. Yes to outstanding lease offers and financing as low as 0% on select models. Visit MaidaSubaru.com. Click the Maida Says Yes button to unlock your savings today.
Ready credit. Hagen Oaks knows you can buy a driver off the shelf anywhere, but Hagen Oaks is the only place where you'll find total game fitting. The Hagen Oaks TrackMan-powered player performance studio fits clubs to your swing. King's Ballnamic Ball Fitter finds your optimum golf ball. The Putter Fitting Studio makes you a better putter, and FootJoy's 3D foot scanner finds your correct fit. In fact, Hagen Oaks will fit you from head to toe with equipment and apparel to make you the player you want to be. It's total game fitting, and it's only at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
You remember me from a show called And Joe? I'm back on the radio, Sacramento. It's Joe Mommy, and when you need your new country fix, join me weekdays from 6A to 10 for the Pat and Cody with Joe show on New Country 105.1 KNCI or on the free KNCI.
Sabonis Raptors trade. Things are happening. We just got former Kings Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric going to the Detroit Pistons.
Kevin Huerter.
The Timberwolves basically salary dumped Mike Conley to the Chicago Bulls. Jaden Ivey also went from the Pistons to the Bulls in that deal. That opened up the freedom financially for the Timberwolves to potentially make a big splash, and we know they're in on the Giannis Antetokounmpo sweepstakes. Things are happening, Kayla. Things are really heating up, and it feels like the NBA is back.
It looks like it's making a comeback from a little bit of a slow start in terms of the action that we've seen. The Brett Siegel thing real quick. He had posted earlier, all of a sudden, the Grizzlies have emerged as a potential suitor for the Raptors in Jacob.
Jacob Poeltl.
Oh, Poeltl, sorry. Okay, just a second. I got to get my glasses here.
By the way, random note while you find that, Brett Siegel is coming on at 3 o'clock today.
Well, there you go. There you go. Sorry. My eyes are not working, guys, and these glasses are clearly need to be thrown away because they're not working because I just had to giant size my...
Oh, no. Oh, no, you got grandma font.
I know, I'm sorry. As Toronto continues to pursue King star Domantas Sabonis, the league sources told
I know people can't see it on the YouTube, but her screen literally is so zoomed in, she has to scroll over.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
I'm going to
Kayla.
have to throw these away.
Kayla.
I know. I'm getting to be like contact status, but I can't give in.
Well, either way,
I can't give in.
Now the Memphis Grizzlies are potential third team to facilitate a Sabonis to the Toronto Raptors deal. We're going to talk about that a lot coming up at noon, and it really is Jakob Poeltl, what the Raptors do with Jakob Poeltl that is holding this whole thing up. Again, we're talking about that coming up here in about 12 minutes or so. But right now, guys, it's time to pick a side.
Here we go.
All right, let's pick a side. By the way, same number of trades in the last 45 minutes as the previous months leading up to the deadline.
We love it.
That's
we
wild.
love it.
What
we
are
love
we
the
on?
trade deadline.
Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah, we had 2 trades in 45 minutes.
We are almost exactly 48 hours away from the trade deadline. Almost exactly.
48 hours, 10 minutes, 57 seconds.
Plenty of show to go.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right, pick a side number 1. Tonight is the Pro Bowl games. Are you going to watch a single second of it?
Hell no. Even with a radio show, hell no. Don't care. I do not care. The Pro Bowl to me is absolutely worthless. I have to fight through watching the NBA All-Star games, and I barely watch those. I'll watch the MLB All-Star game, but no, Pro Bowl, has zero interest to me. Even if I'm supposedly paid to watch it, I still won't.
So this is a little bit of a shocker because I am a NFL buffer, but I am not really interested anymore. I think when you're starting to bring like fourth stringers in terms of all-stars over here, first of all, that lost my interest a long time ago. I can go watch the clips of who pushes like the sled down the fastest.
Yeah.
I really don't care. There's too much else going on right now.
It's goofy.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's just goofy. I don't need to see really talented football players just goof around for hours. I have better things to do with my life.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not going to believe this, guys. I am disagreeing with you because...
Sure, go ahead and watch it for
How
both
are
of us,
you
bud.
on this subject disagreeing?
Because, look, guys, any chance you can get to watch Joe Burrow...
You don't believe what you say.
Is Burrow in it now?
No,
apparently.
He didn't play half the season.
He doesn't believe what he says. He's doing this to be a contrarian. He does not believe this. He's not going to watch any of this.
Any chance you can get to watch Joe Burrow, Joe Flacco, 2 Bengals quarterbacks be Pro Bowlers,
he's not watching.
along with Shador Sanders,
You're fake.
only because we found out yet today that Justin Fields declined to go to the Pro Bowl.
Yep.
Any chance you can get to watch those guys slinging the pigskin around in the Moscone Center and not an actual football stadium, I mean, you've got to take the opportunity. This is
I'm gonna start
must-watch television.
I'm starting to call you Skip Bayless. You just force contrarian opinions. You're not watching. We know you're not watching.
Yeah. Next
All right.
question.
Pick a side number 2. The NFL announced 8 international games. This is too many? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think it's getting out of hand. I understand some, you gotta put your footprint out there. And I get like the London games because there is a huge, I've been to London for covering the Titans and it's awesome. And there's a huge fan base over there for just random teams. There's a lot of interest. There is not a lot of interest in all these different parts now that they're expanding to. I think they're just doing it to do it. And these teams, remember, they got to travel. They got to do all the work. Like, it's a lot. Time change, all that. I think
throws
it's
off
just
their
too
schedules
much
big
to
time.
keep up with.
I think when the schedule comes out next year too, I think we have to look at how intentional the NFL is about spreading the wealth of these international games.
Yeah.
And if a team plays one of those international games, is their bye week right after it, or is it right before their bye week? I think they need to be very intentional about, because the travel, as much as, they're rich millionaires fly on these nice planes. Like, yes, they do. Of course they do. And they're taken care of. They stay in 5-star hotels, of course. But
it's still
they still go through car crashes multiple times a game every week and have to take care of themselves. So it's probably more leaning towards a little bit too much. I don't have a problem with it though necessarily, because I think the international games are fun or cool. I like to see the crowds, like to see the reception, the venues that they play in. So I'm not like super against it, but 8 probably a little too much.
A little much.
You're not gonna believe this, guys, but I disagree. And the only reason is this very specific one. Roger Goodell said years ago they want to go to 16 international games where one team or every team every year plays international. Like it's a neutral site, whatever. Sometimes they're going to be in Mexico, sometimes they're going to be in Spain, Australia, whatever. But if the NFL is going to stay at 17 games, it actually makes perfect sense, because right now some teams have 8 home games and 9 road games. And if you said everyone had to play an international game, everyone would play 8 home, 8 road, and 1 international every year. So for that very specific scheduling quirk, if you're going to do international and make the schedule work, go to 16. However, they're going to expand the NFL to 18 games anyways.
Yeah, they're expanding. So that's out the window.
Roger Goodell said something dumb? What?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah, he had some dumb things at that presser
He really did.
yesterday.
And he felt uncomfortable when Jeffrey Epstein got brought up. All right. Anyway, Kyle, next question.
All right. Super Bowl parties, overrated?
Hell no. That's the point. You get a bunch of people who don't watch football together to watch football. It's fun. I love Super Bowl parties. I love the events. I love the food. I love the camaraderie. The only thing I don't love is if when the Super Bowl halftime commercial is on, shut the hell up or get out the room, because I'm here to watch the halftime show at the very least. At least when I care about the artist, and I do care about Bad Bunny. I cared the last few years. So that's the only curmudgeon thing I have. And even backyard football games during halftime or whatever, or if the game sucks, all right, you're just going to go eat and have a good time. Yeah, Super Bowl parties are awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to have to push this on Kyle to figure out what he's going to do now, because I disagree.
What?
I'm picking the other side.
Because you just want to watch the game.
Well, when I was younger and in my teens and college, it was fun to have the parties. I loved being invited to Super Bowl parties and getting to, have good food and everything. But now, as a professional, covering the game and being involved in the game, I want to just sit and watch the game in peace and eat my food and drink my drinks and not have people screaming and talking about dumb stuff. So I think they're overrated now.
Hi, Matt George, Sactown Sports with a question.
Yes.
Do you realize in the last, let's call it 10 minutes, you just said, I want to eat my food and watch my game in peace, and then you zoomed in a tweet on your computer to take up the entire screen?
But what does that mean?
It's a very get off my lawn. Very.
Oh.
Saying you're.
Are you calling me Karen?
Kayla turned into a 70-year-old woman.
No, he's calling you
segment.
old.
Get off my lawn.
I want to watch my game in peace, and let me zoom in on this here tweet.
Yeah.
What does this tweet say?
I know. I'm becoming my mother before my own eyes.
Oh, no. Is Mom not a Super Bowl party person?
No, she is. Mom's very cool.
See,
Mom and Dad are very cool. Cooler than me, I think.
I'm married. Impossible. You're very cool. I'm married into a family that's also they throw parties for anything. My family threw a party for all the friends to come over to their house to meet me when my wife brought me home.
Though.
No, I had to meet 100 people to say I was my wife's new boyfriend.
I do get overwhelmed though with those situations.
I like it. I'm all for Super Bowl parties.
Kyle,
okay, this is going to be a happy compromise. I like Super Bowl parties,
Don't fence it.
but no more than 10 people. Super Bowl party with more than 10 people, that's too much for me, because then it's not about the game, it's a normal party.
How he tried to change this?
No, he fence sits. I don't like it.
No, but this is a very specific thing. I'm okay with a Super Bowl party if it's about the size of a fantasy football get-together. If it's anything more than that, it's just a normal party and football stops being important. And I, strangely enough, actually want to watch the football.
The football?
I want to watch the football. Okay, my co-hosts just turned into 70-year-olds, so we'll reset everything during this break. Hopefully
Don't worry, I'll teach you Gen Z lingo in the next segment.
Gosh.
Play bingo or something during the break. Eat your tapioca. When we come back, a Kings Raptors trade. It feels like it's close, but there's one big hurdle. But is the route cleared to clear that final hurdle? We'll talk about it all. Matt and Kayla, Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Finding excuses to not do your taxes? Unsure where to start? Sounds like you may be suffering from FOMO, the fear of messing up. The cure? Filing your federal and state taxes for free using TurboTax on Credit Karma. All you have to do is start and finish filing on your own in the Credit Karma app by February 28th. Just keep in mind, this offer is available only if you didn't file with TurboTax last year. It's time to break free from your fear of messing up. Start filing for free today in the Credit Karma app.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, inviting you to come join them every Wednesday for their midweek madness drawing, giving away $2,000 in total cash starting at 6 p.m. It's a safe and friendly environment, plenty of well-lit parking available, and it's conveniently located right there in downtown Sacramento. And remember, best food, best service, best games, 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hurry in and save big during Honda's President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHDK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
We've had a Shams bomb. We've had a Shams grenade.
Now we're talking about John Moran again?
How about a Sacramento Shams nuke? How
Whoa.
How about we get a Kings
Woo!
and Raptors?
Now we're talking.
Sabonis trade.
Mm.
Manifest, 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 manifest. I'm trying to make it happen.
These are spirit thinkers. I guess that could work.
Matt George, Kayla Anderson, Kyle Ledbetter on the other side of the glass. We've enjoyed the first half of this show. It's been busy, and the support from all of y'all has been incredible. Shout out to everybody in the Sactown Sports 1140 YouTube channel. Appreciate everybody over there. If you can hit the thumbs up and stick around, because we love to have fun on the YouTube side of things. All of our audio listeners out there, whether you're at your cubicle or driving around, appreciate you. Please stay safe. Shout out to everybody in our text line as well. You can text in the show anytime at 916-339-1140. And this is the lunch break segment, which means this is your time to call in. You want to react to any of these trades going down? You want to talk about and join into this conversation that we're about to have about the Sacramento Kings and Toronto Raptors, a potential Domantas Sabonis trade? Call in.
This is your time.
Join the conversation.
Put
Now,
your sandwich down.
Now is the time. And Kayla, I have gone so back and forth with this Domantas Sabonis trade conversation with Toronto, and I felt last night, and I put it out even on social media.
Yeah.
I felt like, man, this just feels like buzz for the sake of buzz. Like, it feels like it's a conversation, but it's one on a list of options for Toronto, and there's just so many hurdles that the Kings have to clear and the Raptors have to clear in order to make this happen. So I feel like this is just more conversation than it actually is actual substance. And then today, it's, well, maybe like there's really deep conversations there. But there's just one point of contention. There's just one issue that we can't get past. And had we had gotten past, this deal would probably be done by now. And that issue is Jakob Poeltl.
Oh, and that beefy contract.
Jakob Poeltl making a lot of money and not playing very much because he's all banged up.
I don't think I make too much money. I think I get paid more.
Jakob Poeltl is someone who the Sacramento Kings should have no interest in whatsoever. That is a contract that completely and utterly goes against what Scott Perry was saying.
Right.
I know y'all feel like the DeAndre Hunter being worth more money was it.
No.
That's nothing compared to this Jakob Poeltl contract. However, what we've seen throughout NBA history, a lot of teams do, is when they are fully rebuilding, they open themselves up for business to take on bad contracts as long as you're willing to pay for them. And the point of contention here is what happens with Jakob Poeltl. And if I'm putting myself in the mindset of the Toronto Raptors, I understand completely. They're like, we're not trading for Domantas Sabonis and his almost $50 million each year over the next couple of years. We're not trading for that while also keeping Jakob Poeltl on the books and having to pay. That's redundant.
You gotta
No,
get off of one
we
of this.
need to move on from him.
Yeah.
And I understand the Sacramento Kings therefore going, well, that's not our problem to figure out. Y'all are trying to trade for the best player in the deal. Y'all are in the playoff picture. You want Domantas Sabonis because you think he can help you right now make a deeper playoff run than Jakob Poeltl can. He can at very least, hopefully, knock on wood, stay on the court, although I know Domas has been dealing with injuries this year.
Yeah.
So we're not just going to take Poeltl to help you get Sabonis. You gotta put some picks on the table. And then so now there's this talk of, well, according to Sam Amick, the Raptors and Kings, they're looking for a third team. They're looking for a team to facilitate this deal. Is there a team that is willing to accept probably a first-round pick to take on Poeltl's contract? Because if it was multiple first-round picks on the table, I would just tell the Kings, just do it. Just absorb Poeltl's contract, take the 2 first-rounders, and deal with it. And if Poeltl plays for you, great.
But
if
they
he
don't
doesn't,
have a lot of picks.
Whatever. The Raptors? Yeah, the Raptors aren't loaded with picks necessarily.
They only have their own.
Yeah,
right.
They have, which is fine. And you'll take you'll take 2 Toronto Raptors firsts in the future. Protections, we can work that out later. But the point is, I think if there's 2 first-round picks on the table, I think Scott Perry should just go, fine, we'll take those 2 first-rounders. We'll take Jakob Poeltl. We'll get off of Sabonis' money. Blah 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 blah. But I don't think that's where we're at. I don't think the Raptors want to move on from 2 first-rounders. Or, again, I believe this deal would be done by now. They're trying to find a team that will essentially accept 1. And the question that I threw out there this morning, that I'm curious your guys' thoughts on this, if, let's say the Memphis Grizzlies now are open to taking Jakob Poeltl's contract. They're stockpiling draft assets. We will take a first-rounder, but we also need some seconds, too, to get this across the finish line. If you're not going to give us 2 firsts, we'll take a first and some seconds. And the Raptors go, okay, It's just like the Cavs trade all over again. Raptors will give you one. Kings, you pay the other second rounder.
Yeah.
I think, again, the principle would have Kings fans going, no, don't give up another first-round pick to bring in Jakob Poeltl, or to, well, in that case, you're not bringing, second-round pick.
Yeah.
And you're not bringing Jakob Poeltl's money in.
Right.
But don't bring in a second-round or give up a second-round pick in order to move on from Domantas Sabonis. What are you doing? And also in this deal, like R.J. Barrett's coming back to Sacramento.
And we
Ochai
know that
Agbaji
tie to
is coming
Perry.
back. Right. So it's not like the Kings are just dumping, salary dumping. But if it's me and I can not have to take on Poeltl's money, I can move on from Domantas Sabonis' money. I can get another couple young players or let's play players entering their prime, at least in R.J. Barrett's case, that have a familiarity with Scott Perry. And all I have to give up is a second-round pick. Again, I don't care about second-round picks. I think the purpose of second-rounders is just this, to facilitate and get these deals across the finish line. I would do that, but maybe I'm alone in that.
I think it could become a little bit tricky just for the fact that we've been preaching on this show, getting the rebuild started, moving the rock down the hill is what Scott Perry essentially wants to do.
Yep.
Moving off some of these big veteran contracts. And right now, unfortunately, you can't pick and choose. And so if I had a choice, and I think many of us had the choice, Levine would be the first to go. Because he serves I don't mean to be rude, but this comes across very rude. He just doesn't serve a lot of purpose right now.
He doesn't want to be
future.
here. The Kings don't want him here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose situation for him and the Kings. So for Domantas Sabonis, yes, this is the other huge contract that you would like to eventually get moved if you are really, truly rebuilding and know that you're not going to center everything around Domantas Sabonis. So there's part of me going, yeah, Kayla, you've got to just do it because you've got to get off this contract. You've got to start moving forward in terms of what you really want to do. But then we've also questioned, well, maybe they do want to see what Sabonis will look like when some of these pieces all come back. Or, maybe he is part of the future still. I feel like if you don't have to take on a huge, heavy contract here, and you can move Sabonis, and you can get a couple players here that see what they do, here, do something, like that stick figure, like get in here, do something. I think I would be willing to do that. I know it's not going to be a popular take because it's like you're giving Sabonis away maybe for less than what you should. But I feel like if I'm going to stick with the trend, if I'm going to stick with the theme, I'm going to stick with the theme. And the theme is get off these contracts, start the rebuild now, because the more and more you push it down the road, the longer it's going to take.
I think Scott Perry, no matter what, will push for a first coming back to Sacramento regardless.
You need something.
Because, again, we're giving up Domantas Sabonis
here in this deal. Yeah, you got to have a pick return.
So if you're the Toronto Raptors, though, I have to imagine the Raptors are trying to do everything in their power to not give up multiple firsts to make this deal happen. They want either the Kings to take on Jakob Poeltl's contract and facilitate the first to them, or send a first out to another team to take on Poeltl's contract.
But you think even if they get Poeltl out of there, because it's so hefty, it's such a hefty, you still think like they're not going to be willing at all to give up first-round pick?
I don't know, because why at that point just give the Kings 2 first-rounders and have them take on the Poeltl contract? And again, I believe if that were the case, this deal would already be done.
I guess the point too, Kayla, is like, why would the Kings just trade Sabonis for R.J. Barrett and Agbaji?
Well, no, there'd have to be picks.
Yeah,
sorry,
exactly.
I didn't bring that up in the whole situation because I was assuming that we knew at least it would be one first-rounder.
But then we flip that though, because if you're not going to get a first in this deal, because the first, Toronto insists that either this deal never happens or we're using the first to get rid of Poeltl. If you don't want him, we don't blame you. We don't either. We will give a first rounder or attach a first rounder to him to get a Memphis Grizzlies to take on that pick. But we're not including a pick in addition to that. But you're getting off of Sabonis' money and getting 2 players, decent players in return. Yeah. I don't blame Kings fans or yourself for going, ew, but this might be the crossroads. And if the result is...
So you're okay with that?
I go back and forth.
I know, and that's what I find myself doing.
Yeah.
I felt at least if there was a first-round pick involved that I would be in.
I'm still in the same boat of what we talked about last week. Just kick it to the summer. Like, there's no point unless you're so eager to move off of Domantas Sabonis now.
But the thing is, the Raptors have the interest now because they are looking at adding a center, a reliable center to a playoff push.
To compete.
So they're interested in Sabonis now and his money now because they kind of need him. We don't know if they're going to need him in the summertime. So if you're Scott Perry, you have to be very diligent about the very real possibility that if you don't do this right now, you're not going to be able to move Sabonis until he's
at least with Toronto.
Or any team. Sabonis does not have any interest around the league outside of the Toronto Raptors. You have to take that into account.
And he's a different type of center.
If you don't move on from him, there's a very good chance that he's on your books all the way until he's an expiring deal, and then you have to trade him for pennies to avoid losing him for nothing.
But if Toronto, in theory, needs him, then you should be negotiating from a place of advantage if you're Sacramento.
Which is what they are doing, which is why this deal hasn't been done yet.
But it's also why I think this deal they shouldn't adjust the offer. Just take it into the summer where, in theory, Pirtle is more easy to move. There's more clarity on Sabonis' situation. Other teams might get involved because you're essentially just negotiating against yourself if there's only one team.
I feel like they're trying to get it across the table, though, because I don't feel like we would still be talking. Like, when we heard Malik Monk was pretty much out of involvement in trades, and you reported that a couple of weeks ago.
At least we'd heard they're changing how aggressively they're shopping him. I still think they'd move him if the deal made sense.
And he's still, like, maybe once in a while attached to something. But this Domantas Sabonis thing has, like, it went from, like, 8 legs to, like, 12, and it the thing just keeps mutating. The legs keep growing. Like, I feel like they're trying to make something push across the finish line. That's why I don't think they're automatically being like, let's just push it to the summer. I think they're trying to get other teams involved.
I'm with you, Kayla. And Kyle, I just think there's a lot of assumptions that you're making of if you kick this down the road, it'll just be there for you and the circumstances will be better. I hear what you're saying from just a baseline standpoint, but the timing of the situation is so important in this conversation because of where the Raptors are, what the Raptors need. They're willing to take on the money right now. That should tell you that that's how highly they value or need a center potentially in Domantas Sabonis. And someone could go, well, then go get Daniel Gafford. Does Gafford move the needle as much as Sabonis does? Maybe. I don't think so. But if I'm Scott Perry, and I think this is why we're trying to see them get this across the finish line. If I'm Scott Perry and I'm looking around the league and looking at how difficult it is to move contracts, and I'm stuck with freaking 4 of them that I can't get rid of, if I have the opportunity now to move on from one and I can get a player that I literally drafted back who I like and I value going forward, and I don't have to take on Jakob Poeltl's contract, maybe I consider, okay, then I won't take a first-round pick in the deal. I think Perry has to consider it at the very least.
You know what's crazy is, like, if you go to any other city, NBA city, and they're talking trade deadline right now, a lot of them are talking just like individual players or, not necessarily contracts to this level. Like, we are talking about, like you just mentioned, huge contracts here.
You've got $2 $40+ million players.
You can't really do all the little things or pick and choose when you have just a bag of heavy you-know-what. Just sitting in the middle of, and not calling the players that.
No, but just the contract.
Yes, the contract is the heavy you-know-what. And that is why you have to at least maybe consider, if you're Scott Perry, and why you're probably continuing to be on the phone. Because is it worth it? I don't know in the end. Maybe you're giving up you're not getting back
as the full value for a player.
Yes. But in a way, I think these are some of the hard things we're going to have to swallow.
It's a crossroads. It's a crossroads here. Because of the situation here.
Yeah, but the other part that I kind of fundamentally disagree with is, like, as time goes on, his contract becomes either A, more movable because there's less years and less money on it, or Sabonis plays well enough to increase his value. That's the other part of, if you're selling low now to move him, I feel like that's something you do with Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan because they're preventing you from being able to continue onward. With Sabonis, he's kind of in that weird in-between space where he's not young, but he's not old. He's got multiple years on the deal, a proven track record of being a foundational piece of your team. I don't know why you feel so rushed to move him unless you're getting something that helps accelerate your timeline of rebuilding,
which would be
is
pick?
the draft picks.
Because if you're Scott Perry, you don't know if you're ever going to have a realistic opportunity to move him in the near future again. I think maybe 2 years from now, potentially, when he's an expiring deal, for sure. There are the what-if circumstances for sure, Kyle, that you're talking about, of maybe he plays well enough to increase his value, or maybe like circumstance X, Y, and Z, whatever that. But Perry knows right now that there is a team, and again, Perry's been working the phones and doing this for months.
He's gotta be exhausted.
So if Perry feels pretty strong that nobody in the near future has any interest in Domantas Sabonis, but all of a sudden the Toronto Raptors, who are in a position they did not expect to be in, they're fifth in the Eastern Conference. They're a team that's ready to make some sort of noise in the playoffs and then trying to build upon it in future years. If suddenly a team has become available, I don't blame Perry one bit for going, I got to jump on this and get this across the finish line, because I don't know if I'm ever going to have that opportunity again. There's a very logical argument that you're making, Kyle, for kicking it down the road and staying patient.
Yeah, and it is a
if you go into the summertime with 73% of your cap space still being taken up by 4 contracts, now you've added $25 million of DeAndre Hunter. You've got no wiggle room, period, to do anything unless you're just saying, I'm waiving DeMar DeRozan or I'm buying out Zach LaVine, and then you still have the same problem with Domas. I think you need to give yourself some sort of flexibility to do something this summer, and trading Domas and getting off of $45 million next year and $48 million the year after, in theory, does that.
Yeah, I think it's also the unfortunately, we keep coming back to this. Sacramento does not have the players right now that other teams want.
Right.
And even Domantas Sabonis, essentially your best player, who is a center, but kind of a specialty type of player, and
Specialist.
doesn't fit in every organization's future.
Sure.
It's hard because it's like, if it was another player, I feel like we'd be doing deals left and right. But you have every single player here that nobody really wants, like DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, even your best player, Domantas Sabonis. We're talking about specialty again, and only certain places want him. So how much are you willing to drag that down the line?
Yeah.
Because like you said, maybe Toronto doesn't need that in the summertime. And then maybe there is another team that pops up. But these are all chances that you have to take. So what's more important, getting some of these big contracts off the books or taking a chance to get more value back?
I guess my question would be, why would Toronto no longer be interested in the summer?
Because either they went out, if the Kings walk away from this now and they go out and let's say they do a Daniel Gafford trade, and it works out for them. They go into the playoffs. They're able to move on from Jakob Poeltl because the Grizzlies absorb it. They get off of Jakob Poeltl. They get a Daniel Gafford because they're looking for a center, period, right now. I don't think there's going to be much of a scenario where the Raptors don't walk out of the trade deadline without at least a different face at that center position.
But
they clearly feel they need one.
Yeah.
So if they go out and get Daniel Gafford, let's say, and they have success in the playoffs, and now they don't have to go out and now, oh, wait, that $45 million and then $48 million paycheck for the next 2 years for Sabonis, that doesn't look as appetizing. Not to mention a year, he's now 30 next year, and then 31 the year out.
Don't forget about the age.
He's getting a year older, and circumstances have changed. Plus, the market right now is not going to be the same market as the market during the summertime, which can be used for Kyle's argument. It could also be used against Kyle's argument in the sense of there might be other centers available at that point, or what they get in the draft that now diminishes the need for Domantas Sabonis. And there's so many teams that already have this belief, or Sabonis has this reputation around the league as it is, that he's a very difficult player to build around, not because of an attitude or anything like that, but the type of player that he is. So if the Raptors are a legitimate playoff team that right now feel that they will take his money and they could use it, and they even want it, which is what it sounds like at this point. Again, I don't know how Scott Perry just can walk away confidently from that, going, I'll get a better offer down the road. You better be damn sure, or you're going to be stuck.
Sorry, I was just saying, it seems like the biggest pro is the financial flexibility part, which I understand. It doesn't seem like a good enough reason to make a trade where you're not getting anything that will help, unless you're going to extend RJ Barrett, which is another conversation.
I believe they would. Yeah, I think he really likes RJ Barrett.
Sure.
There's the assumption of that point for
but
sure.
But that's still not value-wise matched up to what Domantas Sabonis is. And so,
but you're never going to get equal value.
Yeah, and I think that's why Scott Perry, if this move is made and there's not a pick that comes back and it is just like RJ Barrett,
Yes.
what do we say?
RJ Barrett
Would
and
be
Ochai Obaji.
Ochai Obaji, yeah.
I think that's what it works.
Involved
Do they have to add
too,
one
which
more
is
little
like,
thing,
whatever.
like Marie Boyles or
If we're not including Pirtle,
yeah. If Pirtle's,
I'd rather have
Pirtle's going to a third team in
Yeah,
this scenario.
Yeah.
I'd rather have
Toronto's
Colin
not
Murray
getting
Boyles.
DeMar, or excuse me, Toronto's not getting Sabonis without moving Pirtle.
Yeah, so-
like that's
Well,
clear.
Yeah.
the one scenario is like if they trade Grady Dick and like Garrett Temple, but again, that's not.
They're
Right.
not. They're not doing that. 'Cause
Exactly.
They're not going to pay two centers $100 million. It won't be that much.
I lost my train of thought.
Don't worry. I was going to add too. Like I understand the argument from the financial standpoint too. And look, maybe you end up overpaying RJ Barrett and getting him to stay around, or that relationship thing allows him to say like, I want to stay in Sacramento. Whatever the reason is, if they extend RJ Barrett, you're having a different conversation. Obviously, that's one part of it too.
Sure.
But if Sabonis inherently has no value right now, just my kind of thought is like just extend him at a lesser dollar amount that inherently adds value to his contract if the dollar value is going to go down over time and has multiple years once these teams have already done it. Like, there are other options other than just letting Sabonis ride out and leave in free agency. And honestly, if they do that, that's not the worst thing in the world either in terms of how they're playing this out.
It is if they feel like they can get a player that might fit the rebuild like RJ Barrett going forward and free up the financial flexibility to do more on top of that in the summertime. No matter what, whether they make the trade or not, Kyle, ultimately there has to be more, right? Like that's the universal tagline for all of these conversations, right, Kayla? There has to be more, because if you free up the money and you move on from Domas for less value, what do you got to do? What are you going to do with the money, right? You got to do something with the money.
It's just a weird position to be in anyway, because even when you're getting back players that maybe are going to fit what Scott Perry is thinking of for the future, because again, we're attaching players that Scott Perry likes. Like these are guys that he knows, right?
He drafted them.
He drafted them. And look, I think initially people think like, but aren't we rebuilding? Like we got to just get draft picks, and it's you got to do both things. Like you have to bring back some younger players who you feel like are going to fit the mold moving forward. And again, maybe not all of them will work out that you'll get in trades. And yes, you have to get draft picks, but in this situation, you might just have to eat it.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'm not saying, if you could get a first round pick back, that would be good. But if you can't, I still feel like you just got to move off the contract.
So what's the better scenario? And I think, Kyle, I know the answer you're going to say option C is neither and kick it down the road. But the better scenario is this. If you insist on getting a first rounder, is Jakob Poeltl's contract worth taking back so you can get a first rounder? Or would you rather not take a first and not have to take Jakob Poeltl and get players that you want, and the money is off the books, and now you're clear, or you're freed financially?
That's mine.
If the deal is Barrett, Poeltl, Abaji, whatever, and 2 first-round picks, then I'd be like, okay,
Well, of course.
I have to resign that. Like that's not a terrible trade.
Yep, and that's where I think
but if
the
it's
kicks are at.
If it's just 1, or you get Abaji and 1, or a bunch of seconds, then I'm like, you kind of blew the leverage you might have had by Toronto being desperate.
It's hard to hold leverage, though, when you're the one that's giving up a player that's paid almost $100 million over the next 2 years.
Even if it's not your guy that you drafted or anything, you can't be completely naive to that.
Like you have to understand that the Raptors, if I'm making an argument in their case of why they shouldn't have to give up more, the Raptors are going, we're taking on one of the worst contracts in the NBA in order to do this. We're taking a risk. Now, we think he can help us win right now, so we have to give you something in return, but we're not going to unload. Like
Both have arguments.
I saw someone in the comment section going, well, Memphis just got full value for Jaren Jackson Jr. Don't compare Triple J to Domantas Sabonis in terms of like his view around the league. I'm sorry. I love Domantas Sabonis. It's not even close.
It's not that.
Jaren Jackson Jr. is a all defensive caliber player who you can plug in almost anywhere, and he can space the floor for you, and he can protect the rim, and he plays damn good defense, and all 30 teams want that. Domantas Sabonis is a very niche type of player who is unbelievably skilled at what he does. But as we've seen for years, his reputation has been you have to have the perfect pieces around him, and it's harder when you're paying a guy $50 million a year to find the money to pay for those perfect pieces to put around him.
Money ain't helping.
It's the conundrum that the Sacramento Kings find themselves in. Fascinated to hear what people think on this. TC is on hold. TC, we will get to you when we come back as we continue our conversations about this potential Domantas Sabonis to Toronto Raptors trade. Are you team Kyle? Are you team Matt? Are you also team Kayla? I don't know, but we'll figure out.
I don't even know what team I'm on.
I don't know either. We'll also talk about expectations for the Kings rookies going forward as the Kings play a basketball game against the Grizzlies tomorrow night. That's all still to come here on Matt and Kayla.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Join Sactown Sports downtown before every Kings game and pick up an In-Shape Fitness Kings rally towel while supplies last. If you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong. Start the year strong and join today at InShape.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
You remember me from a show called And Joe? I'm back on the radio, Sacramento. It's Joe Mommy, and when you need your new country fix, join me weekdays from 6A to 10 for the Pat and Cody with Joe show on New Country 105.1 KNCI or on the free KNCI app.
At Stockton Honda, we know how to honor a great deal. Like right now during our President's Day sales event. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, you can find star-spangled savings on some of our best models. Why not stop in today and see for yourself? Come celebrate at Stockton Honda and get huge savings on our giant selection. Plus top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Country in the Park is back. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert. John Party. And more. Line dancing live DJs, mechanical bulls, huge festival area, and food trucks. Tickets start at only $68. It's the perfect Valentine's gift. Surprise them with live country music and dancing. Country in the Park, May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with Hoblit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center and Hilton Sacramento. For more info, visit CITPFest.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Many driving ranges have turned to hitting mats, with many of them using mats year-round. But according to golf top 100 teacher Martin Chuck, hitting off mats can give you a false sense of security, giving you the impression that you're a decent ball striker. There are a couple of ways to make sure you get the most out of your practice, and he shares them in Golf Magazine. First, approach the ball with purpose. Treat every shot like you would on the course. Stand behind the ball and visualize what you want the ball to do. Then walk in and go through the same routine you use during a round on the golf course. Second, try the towel drill. To make certain you aren't skipping the club head into the ball, place the towel a few inches behind the ball and try not to hit the towel on the downswing. This will help promote ball first contact. If you disturb the towel, then you know you're hitting the ground too early. Ball first contact is imperative. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
Sactown Sports' own Brendan Nunez is at Kings practice right now, inside the Kings practice facility, where DeAndre Hunter is there. So is Domantas Sabonis and Russell Westbrook. All three of them were full participants in practice today. And as Brendan shared on social media, an update on Keegan Murray's status with his ankle injury is expected later on today. So maybe, hopefully, very soon we will get some good news about the return of one Keegan Murray, although I doubt it's going to be he's available to play tomorrow when the Kings take on the Memphis Grizzlies. But any step closer to Keegan Murray returning is definitely a good thing, Kayla.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was funny today because we had brought up, I'm just thinking, gosh, he's been out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And again, time is kind of all mushing together. And so it was funny. We brought that up, and then you guys go, oh, yeah. I think it was Kyle was like, today is the day that he's reevaluated. Oh, good timing.
It's been 4 weeks, right, to the day? Right, Kyle? It was 4 weeks to the day today?
Today is the beginning of week 4.
Beginning of week 4.
Okay.
All
So
right,
I think it's 3 weeks to the day of the announcement,
Yep.
which was just after the injury.
we are in the reevaluation stage for Keegan, and hopefully we'll be getting an update from that very, very soon, whether it's on this show or, of course, you keep it locked into the Drive guys. They will be joining us in a crosstalk at 1:45, and then they take over for their show. They got plenty to talk about today. And then our friend of mine, ABC 10's Kevin John, joins us at 1 o'clock. He's down in the Bay covering the Super Bowl. He'll give us all the sight and sounds from what's going on during Super Bowl week, in addition to trade deadline week around sports. What a fun time. It's always fun also to have TC on. TC waited patiently to jump into this conversation about the Domantas Sabonis potential trade to the Toronto Raptors. What's up, TC?
Man, what's up, Matt and Kayla?
What's up, TC?
Hey, just vibing, man. So I'm coming with a twist from this angle because I'm really doing the deal no matter, and I'm explaining why. I'm gonna do the deal no matter if we get picks or not. So, but I'm gonna go the pick route, whatever the low hanging fruit, what everybody wants to hear. So you got to be a fool not to do the deal to take Porto back if they're giving you the one of those first round picks, if not both of them this year, in a loaded draft. What do we talk about every day? This is a loaded draft. Well, you will have 2 first-round picks. Say they gave you one. Say you had to take Pirtle back, right? And you got one of their picks because they got theirs and the Lakers, either one. And you got yours, and you got 2 high second-round picks in a loaded draft. I'm just saying, right? So I know you want to get the 2, but if you got to get 1, that's fine.
Oh, did we lose TC? Well, I think a big assumption being made there by TC, too, is that the Raptors were offering a pick in this year's draft.
Yeah.
We don't know that.
We don't know that yet.
We don't know if the pick would be for this year, if it would be for a handful of years down the road. But ultimately, that draft, the Jakob Poeltl problem, the Raptors need to move on from Jakob Poeltl. The Poeltl problem, the Poeltl hurdle, as many people said, and Kyle wanted me to say it, and I didn't say it. And also, like, how many draft picks, or if a draft pick needs to be attached to Poeltl in order to solve that problem. That's where this thing is hung up. Because I do believe if multiple firsts were on the table, the Kings would pull the trigger on it and take Poeltl back and just deal with it. I believe if a team like Memphis was willing to take on Poeltl for just 1 first, but the Kings don't get a first in the deal, I don't know if the Kings would do that or not, because they feel like they need another first in addition to that. I think if the Kings could get a first for Sabonis along with RJ Barrett and the rest of the filler and not have to take on Poeltl's contract, I think the Kings would do that deal.
That's where we've settled at, I think. But I think that's exactly where it's tied up at, because the biggest thing for the Raptors is like getting off the Poeltl contract and getting, obviously they'd love to get Domantas Sabonis, but for the Kings, it's like, we can't bring on the contract, and if anything, we also need some sort of pick compensation, which I don't think they're willing to give picks either.
Yeah.
Which I think is a bigger problem.
Well, because in Toronto's mind, we need to move on from Poeltl, so we take on Sabonis' contract, but we're taking on a worse, even though it's more short-term, we're taking on a worse, more high-money contract.
But they really want the player.
But we really want the player, which is going to be what the Kings' comeback would be. But you really want him, so you're going to have to pay for him. But if I'm the Raptors, I'm only parting ways with 1 first-round pick max, and I'm either using it to get you to take Poeltl or using it for somebody else to take Poeltl. And the Kings are probably going, you need to give me 2 firsts to take Poeltl, or you need to give one team a first and still give me a first in order to send you to Domantas Sabonis. I can't guarantee you, but I feel like if we have come to the impasse that they're probably dealing with and probably have been dealing with for weeks since we heard this rumor began.
Yeah, it's like, you want to budge?
Yeah.
Do you want to budge?
And initially we thought maybe Emmanuel Quickly could be part of it too, but Emmanuel Quickly, I think he's out because why, again, with the Raptors trade a starting point guard and have two super highly paid centers if I'm the Raptors, I'm not moving on from Sabonis. I'm not getting Sabonis unless I move on from Pirtle.
Oh, yeah. And you're keeping Quickly.
There's just
I don't
no
think
point in paying that much money between Pirtle and Sabonis over the next couple of years. That would be dumb for them to do. So I don't think Quickly is a part of this conversation.
Big old contracts.
Part of this conversation either. But who's part of the conversation is Dwayne. Dwayne, welcome into the show.
Hey, what's up with the homies?
What's up, Dwayne?
A few points I got today. One, I don't want the kid from Kansas.
Oh, you don't want
Darren Peterson?
We're taking him off the board right now. I don't think he's going to be available in the NBA, man. I think he's going to be off injured. And it seems like he already been treated like a superstar, so I kind of getting that feel from him, and I don't like that because I'm an OG. So you give me the kid from BYU, or you give me the kid from Duke. Give me Boozer's kid.
So how Peterson played against AJ doesn't sway you in any kind of way, right? Because it sure looks like Peterson's the best player in this draft, but I guess you sound like you
He's old school like me.
You believe the injuries are real, or you think he's just playing it up so he doesn't have to play anymore.
I don't like any of that, man. I see the handwriting on the wall. I think he's the most talented, especially what I saw yesterday, man. He came up big with those 2 3-pointers yesterday. I'm going to give him that. He's probably, but the kid from BYU is a freak.
He is an athlete. I'm a big fan of AJ DeBonta, too. Shout out Dwayne for the call. That type of thinking, though, is probably not, like if you're the Kings, Dwayne just said it there, best talent.
You can't overthink.
If you have the number 1 overall pick, you take the best talent.
I think that's where I would suck as a GM. I think I would overthink.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, he's talented as hell.
Kayla would make all her decisions based off of how the interview went.
Maybe not all, but there would be a big portion.
You're like, if you fail the interview with me, I'm not drafting you even if it's 30th.
If you show you're a diva, you're out.
But diva according to your standards of diva, which is sometimes doesn't play.
Which is what, Kyle?
Sometimes doesn't play.
Wait.
With Darren Peterson.
He's saying that makes him a diva because he sometimes doesn't play.
Yeah, and I don't know. Sometimes he rubs me a little different in terms of like his attitude, but I think that's just because he's more of an introvert.
I still love AJ DeBonta. I love AJ DeBonta, but I don't think the Sacramento Kings could get away with not taking Peterson number 1 overall unless we get a lot more context between now through March Madness into draft day that either there's something wrong with Peterson health-wise or between the years or attitude or whatever it may be. But, I mean, if the draft were tomorrow and the Kings had the number 1 overall pick and they didn't take Peterson, I think the entire world would go, here come the Kings again.
Oh, yeah.
Here come the Kings.
And look, they're going to do their digging. They're going to do all the detailed stuff they've got to do.
Yeah.
Also, in this day and age, this generation doesn't have great social skills, so that might also be
Kyle, that's not a good thing.
No, but COVID is... You realize that Darren Peterson...
Stop blaming it on COVID.
You realize Darren Peterson was 12 when COVID happened, right?
Grow up, kid.
I'm just saying, this is COVID. We're about to find out these kids are not okay.
Kids are not okay.
Yeah, we're about to find out. These kids are not okay, dude.
That's Kyle's take of the day. The kids are not okay.
Kids are not okay.
They are not okay indeed. All right, we're going to take the break. When we come back, we'll talk about expectations for the Kings rookies going forward. Plus, NBA All-Star reserves have been announced. Who was snubbed, who wasn't. That's still to come here on Matt and Kayla, Sactown Sports.
This is Bill Cartwright. Join us Thursday, February 5th at the Golden One Center for the Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame celebration.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands, not amusing. losing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt, and right now get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
On Sactown Sports 1140.
New trade.
I think we've had one every hour.
When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sactown Sports breaking news.
It's not quite a Shams bomb, but it is another deal.
Is it a grenade?
It is. I don't know.
A sparkler.
No, it's not that bad. It's not that lame.
What is it?
A ShamWow. We have Chris Watkins in the studio off in the corner making comments. The Chicago Bulls are once again making a trade, and it's not with the Kings. The Chicago Bulls are trading center Nikola Vucevic and a second-round pick to the Boston Celtics for Anthony Simons and a second-round pick. So essentially second-round pick swaps and... Yeah. Nikola Vucevic to the Celtics. That's sad for our boy Nemi, former Sacramento King, who's been the starting center for the Celtics. He probably gets pushed to the bench a little bit. The Celtics are tooling up for another deep run, and they add Nikola Vucevic now as their new starting center.
Does not hurt.
Move on from Anthony Simons. Really solid deal for Boston.
Look at Kyle.
It's also an expiring contract for expiring contract.
Yeah.
Why did the Celtics have to include a second? They didn't have to do that.
Again, because most teams realize that second-round picks are just whatever to ultimately... I know y'all want to go, but Maxime Reynaud is a second-round pick. I know when you attach a name to it, you actually put some emotion into it. Yeah. I get that. But the reality is a lot of second-round picks are used for the purpose of facilitating trades because the second round of the draft isn't the second round of the draft. The second round of the draft is essentially, hey, agent, where do you want your guy to go? Let's negotiate it. Maxime Reynaud was not the 42nd pick? He was not the 42nd best player in the draft or wherever he was drafted. He negotiated or worked with the Kings to come here to Sacramento. That's very well known. So using second-round picks to facilitate these deals, it's what every team does, which is why I have no problem with the Kings doing it in the DeAndre Hunter deal, and I'd have no problem with them doing it again if it made sense in a potential DeMar DeRozan or Domantas Sabonis deal.
Sorry, I read the trade wrong. They're swapping second-round picks. Yeah. Why did we have to do that?
Just for high five. Just add a little fun into it.
It makes the font look bigger.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit longer of a paragraph.
More than likely.
Second-round pick swap.
More than likely, why? So the Bulls more likely will have the better of the second rounders. So the Bulls.
No, we don't even know if they're the same year.
True.
Because there's no specifics.
By the way, no team has their own picks, by the way. These things have been traded so much. I'm just going through here.
You get a second round pick.
That's because draft picks are most valuable before they have names attached to them. So people just throw them all over the place.
You guys want to guess, of the 30 teams in the NBA right now, do you know how many of them still have retained their own second round pick for this year?
This year alone?
Boy, I have no idea.
Just this year, out of 30, how many teams? Here's a hint. Sacramento is one of them.
I'll go 11.
I'm going to go 10.
It's 8.
Okay.
8 teams still own their own second round pick.
Because the purpose of a second round pick primarily is to facilitate deals and get them done, Kings fans. That's why you don't have to freak out about the Kings using a second rounder to get the DeAndre Hunter deal done.
Again, I wasn't worried about
now
that.
If they included a first rounder, like when they did a first round pick swap.
Were people
with
really worried about that? The second round?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't get as much. I didn't see that as much.
Oh, no. Kings fans were very bothered by the fact that it was more the principle of the Kings gave up a second round pick instead of getting a second round pick in this deal because they helped Cleveland save money. Again, you're mad about the principle. You're not mad about the substance. You're just mad about the principle. And I understand why, but it's just not worth getting up in arms about. Including second round picks to make these deals happen. That is what teams need to do. That's what the entire NBA is doing. So it's not that big of a deal. But if the Kings were to include a first,
that's a deal.
Now you can start rioting in the streets, which is why people are still frustrated that somehow the Spurs got a pick swap out of the Kings for the DeMar DeRozan deal.
Sorry, I'm still stuck on this Anthony Simons deal. Like, what a bum deal for him. Like, he spent all those years on Portland. They weren't competing for anything. And then he went to Boston, and Boston was the 2 seed in the East just to get shipped back to Chicago. What a terrible deal he got at the end of this.
Sorry, pal.
Yeah, some players do get the short end of the stick, though.
He thought he had finally made it to a contending team. It was him and Jaylen Brown, and then, no, sorry. We'll take Vucevic, who is one of the most empty stats offensive players, I think. Like, empty stats all-stars the NBA has ever seen.
The Sacramento Kings host the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow, as our own Brendan Nunez from Sactown Sports reported. Yeah. I know, Memphis.
That's what I just thought about. I was like, oh yeah, they host the Grizzlies.
Yeah, and they just traded Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah earlier today.
And then the Cavaliers. Yeah. I'm sure there's not going to be any national media people in Sacramento tomorrow.
No, I'm sure it's going to be nice and easy. Keon Ellis is returning with the Cavaliers on Saturday, but we're hoping that Russell Westbrook and Domantas Sabonis will be available to return from their injuries. Or maybe we're not hoping, but the Kings are hoping that they'll be back
if they're here
tomorrow, if they're still here, of course. And then we're hoping maybe that we'll see the debut of DeAndre Hunter, who is a full participant in Kings practice today. I'm just looking forward to seeing what he looks like in person and why Scott Perry values him so much or is so excited about him, because I think that's one of our biggest takeaways from this show, Kayla, is that Scott really does value DeAndre Hunter, is excited about him being here. That was not just a throwaway name to facilitate any kind of trade.
Yeah, and so I do want to bring something up that we had a brief convo in the break about. Now, this is nothing right now that really needs to be discussed, but it is interesting, like Scott Perry, because he's new here and he's bringing in his guys, and rightfully so. Like, you're trying to, like, bring a vision in here. And it's not just about drafting. You have to have some players here that are some veteran or just players that have played in the league in general. Sure. It can't just be like a whole team of rookie players. So it is going to be interesting if they do bring in players like DeAndre Hunter and then maybe an RJ Barrett if they get this trade done from Toronto. And again, he's attached to Scott Perry. Like, this is, again, where the pressure starts to come on Perry from the get-go, because it's like these are players even now that you want to see something out of. Like, you're not going anywhere in terms of the playoffs this year, but you're going to want to see something out of these players because now they're attached to Perry, essentially. Like, these aren't just random dudes that you got in a trade. They're somewhat attached to Perry.
Yep.
Because he's liked them in the past or he's drafted them in the past. So on the note of Hunter, I know it doesn't mean anything really this year, but I want to see him do some things. I want to see him take more threes and hit them. Like there's got to be something that comes out of it this year that's of substance.
You know who's going to give us some really good insight on this, because he has a really close relationship with Scott Perry?
Yeah.
Mark Spears is going to join us on tomorrow's show, almost right off the get-go. So we're going to start the show tomorrow morning. I see all you on the YouTube chat. Get ready, set notifications on your phones. Everybody listening in their car, set a timer or an alarm on your phone for 10:15, because we'll start the show, we'll get the banter out of the way, Heidi-ho, react to anything that happens. Then we're taking a break. and Mark Spears is going to join us for 20 or so
That'd
minutes.
be great.
And we'll talk about all the action today, any more movement coming, because it sounds like more's going to happen today. It's just everything's going nuts today.
Every hour there's
the
something.
NBA has awoken. So we will talk to Mark Spears.
Shams
is coming on.
Wow, we have really upgraded to another level.
We will talk to Mark
Does
Spears.
that count for the energy drink?
It's not me. It's not me. It's a Scott. That's a Scott Perry, Doug Perry, Scott Christie thing for. That's not my thing.
What?
That's Kayla's thing.
I'm saying, does his mispronunciation?
What did he say?
I said Shams instead of Mark Spears.
Oh no, it's more like when you combine the
names.
Combine names,
Yeah.
which by the way, Matt did do it last year or last week after.
I did. She got me. I did say
times.
it. I did say Doug Perry or Scott Christie or something. I can't remember. But yes, Mark Spears will join us right at the top of tomorrow's show, and I'm sure he'll have plenty to say about Scott Perry and his vision for the DeAndre Hunter trade, the Keon Ellis trade. If any more trades happen, I'm sure he'll weigh in on this Domantas Sabonis Toronto Raptors situation. If there's anything at all, the one thing what's funny is all this chaos is going on. You know what we haven't heard anything about? Jonathan Kuminga. Not from a Kings standpoint, but just in general. Because all the conversation out of Golden State right now is how many picks they'll throw for Giannis. And now Draymond Green has been informed he's potentially involved in conversations, but there's nothing about Kuminga right now, which is pretty funny, all things considered. Kuminga carried us through all of the dry period, and now things are picking up. And Kuminga's nowhere to be mentioned.
But a lot of these trades that have happened today, what I think is funny is we really hadn't talked about a lot of these.
Yeah.
And not all of them have been like barn burners.
Sure.
But like
Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah?
Jr.
Yeah, no way.
We hadn't even spoke about this.
Right.
And it's like, boom. So you just never know.
All the conversation was around Ja. Now we heard that, Jaren Jackson Jr. has a better market than Ja, but that felt like common sense. Like, yeah.
It's like, no duh.
But Utah?
But now they're just burning this whole thing
Utah
down.
being the one to go and get him to start this firecracker of things. What I love is Giannis trade be damned. Like, all these moves are happening regardless of the Giannis situation. I'm glad the league is not just sitting there twiddling their thumbs waiting for this Giannis thing to play itself out.
Because that's what we were told what was going to happen. I mean, really from the start, it was like Giannis is going to start the movement, and Giannis is still not moving.
Well, also,
as of right now,
Mark Spears will talk to us about Giannis too, because Mark was.
He knows him personally, right?
Mark was one. I mean, they have a relationship.
Yeah.
Mark was one of the first people that also put out there that he feels Giannis has played his last game as a Milwaukee Buck. So,
does he still think that?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll have to ask.
We can't wait to talk to Mark Spears tomorrow. Really quick, Kayla, before we wrap up, we talked about this yesterday very briefly. We were both very frustrated by Nick Clifford only taking 3 shots in almost 30 minutes of action against the Washington Wizards over the weekend. Something like that cannot happen again. Just when we're talking very broad for all the rookies, what is your expectation for them for the remainder of the season, regardless of the trades that the Kings do or don't make at this
play
point?
more, right?
Yep.
I mean, and we have seen more of that. I'll give, Doug Christie credit for allowing them to play more minutes or just allowing some of them to play through situations, right? Yep. But they also have to continue to move in the right direction because I think we've seen with Maxime Reynaud, there was a really good time where he was building off of everything in every game, and then we kind of saw him sit back a little when Dylan Cardwell took over, and he kind of shined bright for a couple of weeks, and then kind of backed off a little bit. Nick is the one player that I just haven't seen a lot of consistency with in terms of like building off of games.
Yep.
And that's what I want to see specifically from Nick. Because while the other two have to continue to get better, and I'd like to see Maxime Reynaud at some point, I'd love to see him work in terms of his 3-point game and see if he can go back to what he maybe was at Stanford.
Yep.
But Nick needs to build some confidence. I just don't feel like he feels comfortable yet when he is given like the rope to go and like do some work.
Yeah.
He goes backwards a little bit.
It does feel like that. I'll keep it short and sweet. Just be fearless for all of them. Be fearless.
That's a good
way
to put
things. Don't be afraid to fail. Try some things. Take shots. Take the most of your opportunity. That's what the rest of this season is for. We'll take the break. When we come back, my old partner at ABC 10, Kevin John, joins me. He's down in the Bay Area for Super Bowl. He'll tell us what's going on down there and more. It's coming up on the final hour of Matt and Kayla, Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Growing your business? It's all about having the right team on the court. At Bank of Marin, we partner with businesses in the greater Sacramento area, delivering personalized service and local expertise to help you make a slam dunk. Whether it's customized lending or solutions to keep your business growing, you'll benefit from local decision making. Expanding, acquiring additional assets, or building a lasting banking relationship? We're ready for tip-off. Bank of Marin, your local business bank. Visit us at bankofmarin.com. Member FDIC.
Hey there, it's Mark and Tom, the travel and entertainment guys, brought to you by Sports Leisure Vacations. Time for our weekly travel tip, and with it, once again, Mark Hoffman.
Almost everyone who travels forgets something along the way. I can never remember which row I parked in at the airport, which is why my phone is filled with pictures of signs with a row number on them. Hey, you can laugh, but it's a sure way to remember where your car is parked. The most common things left behind in hotel rooms depend on who is doing the leaving. Younger people tend to forget things like chargers and socks. Older people forget eyeglasses and medication. I'm always leaving little bottles of soap and shampoo I brought for the shower. So what is the solution? Develop a routine before checking out. Or when you unpack, put things in your hotel room in the same place every time. Put your charger in your bag as soon as you finish using it. Do you have your meds? Always make a last sweep of the room. Better, make a short checklist on your phone of the types of things I've mentioned here.
More tips to make you a smarter traveler, Saturdays at 11 a.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
One hour left of what's been a very fun, busy day. 2 days in a row where we had all the Keon Ellis trade reactions from yesterday. Now we have trades going off all over the NBA, from Jaren Jackson Jr. heading to Utah, Nikola Vucevic now heading to Boston, Jaden Ivey heading to Chicago, and the Timberwolves have salary dumped Mike Conley in order to maybe bring in Giannis. Also, Red Velvet, Kevin Huerter, headed to the first place Detroit Pistons. It's been an active day in the NBA, and I could not be happier. We're efforting getting Kevin John on the line, my partner from ABC 10 for many years. Kevin is an unbelievable sports reporter from prep sports all the way up to the professional level. He is down in the Bay Area for Super Bowl coverage. Is great content there at ABC 10, which you can check out. But before we get to Kevin, you have a chance to win right now. It's a Matt and Kayla Valentine's Day giveaway. We want to make your Valentine's Day special with a chance to win a $50 gift card to Madison Avenue Florist for the perfect Valentine's Day bouquet. $50 can get you a big bunch of flowers,
let me tell you. You can score big with your wife or significant other.
Oh, but wait, there's more. Oh, yeah, there's more. You'll also win a gift card for a dinner for two from Roosters on the River. That place is bomb.
Okay.
So right now we are looking for lucky caller number 3. Lucky caller number 3 at 916-339-1140 to win this Valentine's Day bundle from Matt and Kayla. Really, it's from Kayla. She's just trying to help you have a good Valentine's Day.
Of course I am. I'm a giving person.
That's caller number 3 at 916-339-1140. And everybody say, thank you, Kayla.
You're welcome.
Kayla.
Now get me flowers.
Yeah, you better give the spend the $50.
Give 'em back.
That's the stipulation. You have to spend the $50 to give Kayla flowers. Well, what about this guy? Kevin John,
Give
my
him his
partner
flowers.
from ABC 10. I'm not giving him flowers. If anything, he owes me flowers because I carried him for years at ABC 10. And then I said, you know what, Kevin, I'll move on so I can let you shine. Now you get to go and do Super Bowl coverage in the Bay Area all by yourself. It's my former partner at ABC 10, Kevin John, joining me. Kev, how are you, brother?
You know, I was doing great until you just gave me that horrific introduction.
What do you
there.
mean?
You know, I carried me, really?
Yeah.
Really, Matt George?
Yeah.
Really, Matt George?
My back
You
is
know
still
what?
sore.
Oh, man. Well, you know what, Kayla? I pray for you because Matt George is your problem now.
I know. Good thing I have a real, red button. If you push it, I will not hold back.
Yeah, no, Kevin's super nice. Kayla will kill me, and I'm afraid. I'm afraid, Kevin.
Yeah. You know, Matt, I am not that kind of person, man. As you know, brother, you know, Matt, I just got to say the last couple of weeks without you has been miserable, man. It is not the same, brother. It is not the same. But it's a lot quieter around the building.
That's fair. That's very fair. Well, I miss you, Kev, and I especially miss doing Super Bowl coverage with you when we were down in Las Vegas doing Super Bowl coverage. My favorite part of that trip was not being at the Super Bowl, Kayla. It was the fact that on live television, I got to tackle Kevin John, which was
That's what I'm talking
so
about.
much
That's
fun to do. But, Kev, give us I know you're just there for the first day. What are the vibes like down in the Bay Area? How's the traffic?
Oof.
And how are you enjoying yourself so far covering yet another Super Bowl?
Well, you know, it's one of those things you never take for granted the opportunity to be here and to take part in arguably the biggest sporting event, you know, outside the World Cup and the Olympics. So you just taking all of that into consideration, you're like, man, this is pretty freaking awesome. And then on the other side of that, you're like, the traffic here sucks. You're working your butt off. You're doing 12, 14-hour days. You're turning all this content. So on one side, you're like excited and grateful for the experience. On the other side, you're like, this is freaking exhausting.
Yeah.
But it's really awesome, though. It really is.
Kevin, I did local TV for so many years, and you're exactly right. Like, you don't really know how to describe it to people. You pretty much just run off of adrenaline, and then when it's all said and done, you, try to sleep, but you're back to work. So with last night in general, because it's such a big night with everybody at the podiums, what stood out to you that you were able to capture at least for content?
You know, what's interesting is just how relaxed both teams are. And, look, I know that opening night is supposed to be, you know, kind of breaking up the intensity and the stress of the week for these teams. You know, they've just landed on Sunday night. They've probably been doing film study, practicing 24/7. So opening night is kind of like being able to slice up all that, you know, stress that they have going. But the one thing that stood out to me was just how cool everybody was, from the coaches to the players. I mean, I had some great interactions with a lot of the guys here. And, you know, it's like, yes, on one side, it's a business trip. But on the other side, a lot of these guys were like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. As a kid, you dream for this opportunity. So while they're still taking it seriously, they're still trying to take it all in and the enjoyment and everything. So it was actually pretty amazing.
Kevin John from ABC 10, my former partner, joining us here first time on the radio show. It's a real treat to have you on, partner, and it's been fun watching you hustle down there so far with all your Super Bowl coverage. Of course, I don't know how many Patriots fans or Seahawks fans are in Sacramento necessarily, but if you need a local reason to root for the game or the Patriots in any kind of way, we got a former Sac State Hornet that's going to be playing in the Super Bowl. You got the chance to talk to Marte Mapu last night. How excited is he for this? How excited are you to be able to tell his story? What a big moment for the former Hornet.
Oh, man. Can I just say that Mapu is literally living his dream right now. He was on cloud nine yesterday. He even told me, it still hasn't sunk in yet. You know, not only is he in the Super Bowl, but he's back in Northern California where all of his friends and family and all of that stuff are at. So he was just said it, but one of the cool things, Matt, when I was talking to him that he was talking about is the fact that, a lot of times FCS is slept on when it comes to football. Everybody's, all the good athletes come out of the FBS. Well, actually, if you remember, just a few years ago, the Super Bowl MVP was out of the FCS and Cooper Kupp. So he went on to talk about just how much talent there is out of the FCS, the Big Sky, Sac State. I mean, look at Scatterboo now. So he was just talking like, do not sleep on the FCS. And he gave a lot of words of advice and wisdom to people at Sac State or maybe other mid programs who aren't like at the Alabamas of the world or Tennessees of the world. But, he just talked. He was so grateful for the opportunity. And funny enough, he was telling me about the tacos they were going out and getting out here too. I guess that's like the dinner of champions for NFL players is tacos. So he went on talking about how him and his teammates went and got some tacos on Sunday. And I guess it's the California thing to do. But really, it's so awesome, Matt. We've covered these guys. Kayla, I know you said you did local television as well. So the feeling when you're covering these guys in high school and college and to see them make it to the pinnacle. And, like, the fact of the matter is, Mapu still remembered me. It wasn't like he called for security when I came around and asked for an interview, which happens to me sometimes. Like, he was like, oh, hey. So that was really cool, too. But, it's just such an awesome moment for these guys.
I do. I always tell people it's the most rewarding part of my career is watching, literally kids that I covered in high school or college or FCS level and seeing them live out their dreams. There's nothing more rewarding. I absolutely agree. Kevin John from ABC 10 joining us. Talking about living out their dreams, there's two quarterbacks in this matchup. Sam Darnold, who is the first USC quarterback to reach the Super Bowl, which is
crazy,
mind-blowing within itself. And then on the other side, you have the second youngest player to make it to the Super Bowl in Drake May. Whose story are you more intrigued with, Kevin John?
I'm definitely more intrigued with Drake May because this is somebody who has, a first year that Mike Vrabel has been the head coach of the Patriots. Obviously, he came from the Titans, but you look at somebody like Vrabel who just got there, took the team to the Super Bowl, and you look at somebody, as you mentioned, Kayla, the second youngest quarterback to start a Super Bowl in Drake May. He's also an MVP candidate this year. If Stafford doesn't get it, but you look at just how intriguing that is, somebody that young being able to play at a high level. And I don't think anybody had the New England Patriots on their bingo card this year coming out of the AFC, especially when you have teams like Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo, the usual suspects. So I'm really intrigued by just the Patriots and Drake May's story. But what's also interesting is you have Sam Darnold, who was just playing for the 49ers a couple of years ago back at Levi Stadium for the Super Bowl. And this was somebody who was kind of cast off, when he had those years in New York and, just really flipped the switch. So I'm intrigued by both of the stories, but I would definitely have to say Drake May and the Patriots just because of how young that dude is. Mike Vrabel going over there doing the hell of a job that he's doing. And Drake May, not only were the Patriots not a team you had on your bingo card for this year, if somebody would have asked me last offseason, who do you think the MVP candidates are this year? Drake May probably would not even been on the top 30 of my list for that. So just to see what those guys have accomplished is, nothing short of extraordinary.
Kevin John from ABC 10 joining us here on the Matt and Kayla Show. Kevin is down in the Bay Area covering the Super Bowl. And Kev, it's an inside joke, but I got to ask it. Have you found fake Andy Reid yet? Is he there?
You know what? I have not found fake Andy Reid yet. Unfortunately, since the Chiefs didn't make it for Chiefs fans, fake Andy Reid will probably not be here. But I'll tell you this. If I run into fake Mike Vrabel or fake Mike McDonald, yes, I am going to go up and chat with them if that's a possibility. But, Matt's bringing up an inside joke from the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Matt and I, we're doing all of this content out there, cranking out all of these incredible interviews. The one that goes viral is me interviewing fake Andy Reid, because of course that would happen.
And Kevin got killed for it. Everyone was like, this idiot doesn't know it's not the real Andy Reid. And Kevin was like, yes, I do.
Like, yeah, I do.
It's just fun.
Yeah. It was, that was so funny, too, because, first of all, I was the one who posted the clip. And second of all, I was interviewing Andy Reid in character as if he were the real Andy Reid. The rule of improv, yes and. So it was funny because I was getting cooked because people didn't think that I knew that was actually – like, would Andy Reid just be walking around Radio Row on a random Thursday before the Super Bowl when they're supposed to be at practice?
With a headset and a clipboard and in full gear.
Not. Yeah. Kevin, I speaking of crazy things, because that's what is so fun about Super Bowl II. I know this isn't kind of all different locations down there, more spread out, but anything that you have seen that has been like wild, just because it is the Super Bowl, like have there been like different fan bases at all that you like 49er fans trickling around? Like anything kind of crazy that stood out?
The funny thing is just how much disdain Seahawks fans have been getting here.
Oh, really?
I am not lying. Even at opening night yesterday, the Seahawks were booed.
Wow.
And their fans were like, the Patriots are actually shown more love. And, I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, the Seahawks are playing in the stadium of their division rivals. So, yeah, not everybody's going to be welcoming. It's kind of like, somebody who has a home and you're allowing your wife's ex to come stay with you. Of course they're not going to be super hospitable. But I would just say the thing I've noticed is just the disdain for the Seahawks over here. Like, just anywhere you go, you see people booing Seahawks fans or players and whatnot. Don't get it twisted. There are a lot of Seahawks fans out here as well, which I guess is why the boos are so loud. But, that's always an interesting thing. Also, Matt, you'll be happy to know this. I've seen a lot of Raiders fans up here.
Yeah,
okay.
You can't get rid of us.
Trying to get a look at Clint Kubiak.
We're like cockroaches. You can't kill us.
Yeah, actually, they're just all walking around drunk and belligerent and, the usual. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's an exciting time for them. They have the number 1 overall pick. Like you said, Kayla, they're looking at Kubiak, who was just announced that the Raiders are going to go with him until, I guess, after the Super Bowl. They have to make it official. But yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl is the thing that brings out any and everybody, all the players. You have a lot of fan bases from every team, even the teams that are not represented. And Radio Row, which is where I'm at right now, I'm getting ready to go in there and do some stuff like, you'll see retired players, current players, all kinds of players who are here. It's kind of like a family reunion for the NFL and football, whether you're alums, whatever it is. So the vibes are always good.
Kev, before we let you go, we got 2 quick ones for you. Number 1 is what can we expect from more of ABC 10's coverage down there of Super Bowl? What you got on the in the works for us? And number 2, I got to get a pick from you, man. Is it Seahawks? Is it Patriots? Who you rocking with?
Well, I'll answer the latter for the last question first because that's pretty easy. I'm going with the Seahawks, man. I mean, you saw what they did to the 49ers. You saw what they did to the – there's a reason that they're the number 1 seed in the NFC. And, they're just dominant on both sides of the ball. And – I can't remember the last time, and when I say recently, that I've seen a team this dominant on both sides. So I'm going with this. I love the Patriots, but we already talked about how young Drake May is. The lights could be too bright for him. We don't know. I could totally be wrong. But I just see the Seahawks winning it. Like, it's just their year. It really is their year. And to see them manhandle the 49ers, who I thought were still a pretty good team despite all the injuries, was just, was crazy. And a very good Rams team. So I'm going with the Seahawks. I'll say score 31-17 Seahawks.
Okay.
So, and then the second.
Yeah, what's going on? What you got going on down there? What are you cooking up?
So there's a lot going on today, first of all. As far as what I'm cooking up today, I'm going to be in Radio Row at least for the first couple of hours, walking around looking for fake Andy Reid or whoever lucky person I could run into. And then from there is a flag football game going on Muscatine. You know how the NFL always does the flag football. So we have a local player, Daisy Throckmorton. She's one of the best quarterbacks in the state of California, if not the nation. She goes to McClatchy High School in Sacramento. She will be playing in that game, so I'm going to run over there and cover that. And then I'm going to run over and do the Pro Bowl, which is obviously later on today as well. So, and then run and see whatever more content I can get. So it's just going to be busy. I mean, that's how it is with these things, Matt. As you know, sometimes it's spontaneous. You'll just come across some good content and be like, oh, wow, I just got, Stephen Curry over here eating at Fatburger. Maybe I'll ask him a few questions. You just never know who you're going to see, what you're going to get. So I can assure you that we'll have some entertaining content for you. I'll say that much.
I'm not exaggerating when I say Kevin is maybe the hardest working guy in the biz when it comes to he just runs all over the place and the energy is real. That's exactly who he is at all times, man. He doesn't need an energy drink. He just wakes up that way. Kev, I miss you every day, my guy. Thank you for spending time on the show. Have fun down there. We'll do it again very soon, all right?
Thanks, Kevin.
I cannot wait. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it. And thank God I'm not going to be tackled on live TV this year at the Super Bowl.
Never say
Matt,
never.
My back can rest.
Never say never. You don't know where I am. You don't know where I am. I appreciate you, Kev. I love that man to death. It's so much fun working with him for years. His coverage over there of Super Bowl is really
he's a
good.
hard worker.
He's the kind of guy, though, Kayla, that will ask the questions.
Oh, yeah.
That get a lot of the answers that we're going to react to here in just a little bit. Because there were a lot of, when you're setting the scene for Super Bowl, there's a lot of seriousness, right? It's the biggest game ever.
Yeah.
It's one win away from immortality, right? So there's already a lot of pressure and stress.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to lighten the mood, right?
Exactly.
And that's what opening night is for when you get these guys in there that are they're going to get the jitters when the game gets closer and they're going to practice and there's a lot of work to be done. But that opening night is meant to be you've made it to Super Bowl week. Enjoy being here. You deserve it as a player. Soak this moment in, and that allows for some pretty fun moments.
Oh, yeah.
Like what we got last night, and you collected a handful of them for us.
Yeah, so I have not covered a Super Bowl in person, but being around the NFL as long as I have, you know kind of how it goes. And so yesterday I was just trying to keep up with everything that was going on in live time. Mm-hmm. And you get so many random things. So we'll start with we'll start with this one, but some of the most random interesting things that were happening on Super Bowl opening night. So Matt Collins, who, by the way, showed up barefoot at media night. That's his thing. He shows up just barefoot everywhere. He's a strange one, wide receiver for the Patriots. He actually answered a question about the EMF and the Niners drama. So here's Matt Collins on that.
What do you think about the Niners electrical substation theory and the dangers of EMF?
Oh, look, we were talking about the flat earth. This is a couple stages above that. I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of studies, if you just do on plants, where you put a EMF next to a plant, it doesn't grow as well as a plant without it. Now, I'm not a scientist, though, so I don't want to say it's this or that. But there has to be some correlation. I don't know if that you can say, ACLs are tearing and stuff because of that. But if they have significantly higher, I don't know if they do or not, if they have significantly higher injuries than other places, then there has to be something, whether it's that or the AMF stuff or something else. They're still got to get to the bottom of what it is, because if there's some sort of difference between them and every other team, then there must be a cause for it. If it's EMF, that's going to be tough on all the headphone companies. They're going to be sick to their stomach. I'm not I'm a wired headphone guy, so.
Some people, you can tell, some athletes like George Kittle are made for television or media when their careers are done. Matt Collins might be right in that mix.
For sure. He's kind of a little out there, but he's actually really smart. Mm-hmm. So it would work in media, because George Kittle's the same way. He's really smart, but
George
a little
Kittle's
out there.
Brilliant. He just acts like a total doofus.
Exactly.
Versus Gronk, who is a total doofus.
Is an idiot. Sorry, Gronk, not sorry. So the next one, who's not an idiot either, Sam Darnold. I was waiting for something that was random out of him, because he's so serious. You never get to know who Sam Darnold really is. This one caught my eye when I learned that he's talking about a bird calling app.
Just an app that I came across randomly, and I love it. It's awesome when when we have some birds that chirp in our backyard, and I'm kind of curious, what is that? So it's nice to have an app that tells me exactly what it is. That's all it is. I'm not every single day going outside and checking the bird app, but it is fun, if a bird makes a noise, to be able to just pull out my phone and figure out what it is.
Nerd alert.
Brother, you're not helping the nerdy white guy mantra very much, my man. I heard a bird and I was like, what was that? So I opened up my phone and basically turned on the Shazam for birds.
Yes.
Oh, that's a rare Australian parakeet. Neat. A finch.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine who's really into the birding apps, and the people who love it, they love it,
Hey,
dude.
man,
I know.
Like who you like. I'm a Dungeons and Dragons fan
Right.
and Lord of the Rings fan, and I have a full arm tattoo of Lord of the Rings. So I'm not making, well, I am making fun of you, but I do it from a place of love. But the idea of you're an NFL quarterback in Super Bowl and you're excited to tell people about your bird watching, listening Shazam app is hilarious to me.
It is very funny.
I'm now more of a fan of Sam Darnold.
I know. I'm not going to judge. Whatever. At least it was something I learned new about him because I don't learn much except for that he sees ghosts. Okay, so the next one, let me give you a little background. I'm sure a lot of you know who Bussing with the Boys is. I covered Will Compton and Taylor Lewan in their careers at Tennessee. Handfuls, by the way. Love both of them to death, but they are handfuls.
And now they do a crazy podcast.
Yeah, they do this huge podcast. They're now on ESPN. Like, they are huge nationwide. So when we were there and Vrabel was on his stretch of coaching a really good team and they were making the playoffs, and Lewan and Compton were there at the time, they brought on Vrabel like one of the first people on their podcast. And they said, what would you do if you won a Super Bowl? Like, what would you be willing to give up? And I'm going to make this PG because this is a family program. But they said, Vrabel, would you cut off a body part? And they said, a specific body part. You can use your imagination. And Vrabel said, if I win a Super Bowl, I will cut off that body part. And so... Yeah, clearly he did not win one there, but now here he is with the Patriots about a year later, and he could win a Super Bowl. So, Will Compton and Taylor Lewan asked him when they saw him.
Kids back there, Taylor and Will.
Taylor Lewan, Will Compton, Busting with the Boys. In 2019, you were on a podcast, and you mentioned that you would take away one of your appendages if you were able to win a Super Bowl. Fast forward to that same year, AFC Championship. Before that week, you said, it was just a joke. Obviously, the result in that game was a loss to the Kansas City Chiefs.
And it was a joke?
Yeah. And now that you're back in this situation...
these guys on the map. We'll talk about the appendage tomorrow.
Now that you're in this situation again, are you ready to be the first head coach to go under anesthesia after you win the Super Bowl?
I don't need anesthesia.
Like a joke. Put a rubber band around it. We love you, Mike.
See you guys in the morning.
You're the best coach.
What a bar.
That is Vrabel. That is Vrabel. I don't need anesthesia. That's his answer.
Keep it awake. I'll be awake.
Yeah.
Cut it off. Cut off the arm. I'll take the Super Bowl.
This is why his players love him though. He is who he is. Does not apologize. It was great though content. Here's another one from Bustin' with the Boys. I'm giving them way too much credit. Asking Cooper Kupp of the Seahawks, former EW wide receiver, is it a must-win or a can't lose?
Jeez.
Would you say this game is more of a must-win or more of a can't-lose situation?
This game is more of a must-win or a can't-lose situation. I'll go with a must-win.
Why?
It's a must-win situation.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. This seems more positive.
It's just more positive, man.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Come on.
Honestly, though, that is when people like you and I, who are paid to do this, and we spend 20 minutes talking about the must-win, it sounds less coherent than him going, I don't know. It just seems more positive. Might as well. He summed it up way easier than most of us do.
That's why I loved his answer. I was like, you're smart, Cup. You're smart.
Whatever.
So. We'll get to the last one real quick because it is a little pop culture involved. If you don't know already, Stephon Diggs, wide receiver for the Patriots, is engaged to Cardi B, the rap R&B, woman.
And woman.
Yeah.
Wow, you've never sounded whiter than that.
I'm sorry.
I didn't say it. It wasn't me.
I was gonna say art. No, I don't know what I was gonna say. Okay.
Artist.
Anyway.
But what you ended up saying
was woman.
Moving on. So she doesn't have, wait, never mind. They're not engaged. I just ruined it. They're boyfriend and girlfriend. So he is asked about Cardi B getting a ring.
Cardi getting her ring?
It's on the agenda, maybe, right? Right? I got to get mine first, though.
Doghouse.
Oh, God. If I was Cardi B, I'd say, you're dumped.
Yeah, keep an eye out for her next album.
Haven't they been dating for like 5 months?
There's going to be a lyric out there about Stephon Diggs. Oh, you got to get your ring
Super
first,
Bowl.
huh?
Yeah. And remember when you were at the podium and I asked you about your...
Hey, brave of you. Brave of you to say that in front of the world. Good job, Stephon Diggs.
Oh, so anyway.
Always good stuff.
There we go.
That's what's so much fun about covering Super Bowl is because it is a very serious game, but you get those fun moments for athletes that are just trying to remember to have a good time. Have a good time. And we're having a lot of fun here on this show. We got half an hour left before Whitey Gleason and Alan Stiles, the Drive Guys, join us for Crosstalk. We'll have plenty to talk about with them about all these trades that went down today, and they're going to cook today, let me tell you. But let's keep the conversation about the Super Bowl going. The biggest concerns for the Seahawks and Patriots going into the Super Bowl, we'll chat about that. Plus, outside of Super Bowl talk, but still in Niner land, hey, the Titans took another 49ers coach, Robert Saleh. He's stealing all of Kyle Shanahan's guys. We'll talk about that coming up next.
There are many reasons to choose Gonzalez Law Offices as a dedicated trial lawyer with an undefeated record from 2016 through 2019, and you'll know that no case is too big or too small. Due to his success, hard work, and commitment to excellence, attorney Jonathan Gonzalez has been listed in Super Lawyers Rising Stars, as well as in the top 40 under 40 list by national trial lawyers. You can find Gonzalez Law Office online at saclegaldefense.com or call him at 916-304-9187.
Hagen Oaks knows you can buy a driver off the shelf anywhere, but Hagen Oaks is the only place where you'll find total game fitting. The Hagen Oaks TrackMan-powered player performance studio fits clubs to your swing. King's Ballnamic Ball Fitter finds your optimum golf ball. The putter fitting studio makes you a better putter, and FootJoy's 3D foot scanner finds your correct fit. In fact, Hagen Oaks will fit you from head to toe with equipment and apparel to make you the player you want to be. It's total game fitting, and it's only at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
You remember me from a show called And Joe? I'm back on the radio, Sacramento. It's Joe Mommy, and when you need your new country fix, join me weekdays from 6A to 10 for the Pat and Cody with Joe show on New Country 105.1 KNCI or on the free KNCI app.
At Stockton Honda, we know how to honor a great deal. Like right now during our President's Day sales event. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, you can find star-spangled savings on some of our best models. Why not stop in today and see for yourself? Come celebrate at Stockton Honda and get huge savings on our giant selection. Plus top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
If you're serious about your golf game, then you need to know about Total Game Fitting at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Whether it's the TrackMan-powered player performance studio for your best fit clubs, or the cutting-edge technology putter fitting studio, or the free Ballnamic ball fitter and 3D foot scanner, the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop offers you total game fitting from head to toe with equipment and apparel. Find your advantage at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop with the latest offering of new golf products in Northern California. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
How about some good news, bad news coming back from the break? Good news. We do have a medical update on Keegan Murray.
Positive?
Kinda. He is progressing.
Oh, I thought that's like, is that the bad news?
Yay.
Bad news. He's going to be out for another couple weeks.
Golly.
Yep, another 2 weeks. He'll be reevaluated in another couple of weeks.
And
but
again, this was I can't keep up with all his injuries.
This is the ankle.
Yes,
the ankle injury.
This is the beginning of week 4.
Yes. So he's going to be evaluated in a couple weeks. That's getting us pretty darn close to the All-Star weekend, All-Star break.
Yeah.
Honestly, just keep him out until the All-Star break. See where he's at coming back from that. See if he's good to go. I think it's the absolute right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's been banged up all season. I know he wants to play. I know we want to see what he looks like next to DeAndre Hunter and give him as much opportunity to, again, be a featured part of the offense to show what he can do. But this season has just been rough for him. He needs to get right. He needs to get healthy. So I'm totally okay with the Kings taking their time on this. And
for sure.
I mean,
I get it.
They're going to lose games. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, we already expected that. And if we have to wait a little bit longer for him to, pair him with some of the guys like we've mentioned, DeAndre Hunter, then we're just going to have to wait.
And that's the big thing. Like that, I've been asking for weeks. Like, give us something just to be curious about.
Yeah.
Give us something.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to just be curious about. Give me a reason to watch or pay attention to a little bit. And I'm paid to do so I'm going to do it anyway. But give me something new. Give me something different. And DeAndre Hunter, the addition of DeAndre Hunter and how he looks next to Keegan Murray, that curiosity hopefully will carry me through these final couple of months because I do believe the Kings hope that can be a pairing and that can also give us some insight into what does Keegan look like. Is anything better offensively because he doesn't have as significant of a workload defensively because he has some wing defensive help? Does that help him get that three-point shot right? Does that help him open up more of his offensive bag? If it does, then that's some good context for the Kings going into this offseason when maybe they do prioritize like an AJ DeBonsa in the draft. So it's
all the pieces they got to try to make fit somehow.
Right. You're just trying to get all the puzzle pieces together before you can put them.
Right. Like get them sort, when you kind of shift them through the.
I hate puzzles.
Sift them out.
I hate
so
puzzles.
bad at them. My sister-in-law is so good at these things. Nah. I'm like, how do you do this?
Yeah, I have friends that'll just turn their dining room table into a 1,000-word puzzle that they'll work on from time to time. I just look at that and I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No thanks.
I'm
also not someone who does like brain game stuff to train your brain. No,
me neither.
Nope. Let that be soup. Let it be soup up there. Let it be worthless.
My brain is trained in sports.
Yep. I watch games and I let a scoreboard do counting for me, and that's pretty much it.
This is going to sound not surprising at all, given that I'm me, but I love playing the Sudoku. Love that game.
A lot of people love Sudoku. I never got into it, but I understand people who love playing that.
I'm not good at that either.
I had a time where I kind of enjoyed crossword puzzles, and then I realized I'm not 90. So I can do something
You're
else
like,
with
I
my
can
time.
do that later on in life.
Yeah.
Like, we'll save that.
Yeah, we'll get
Put
there.
that on hold.
We can get back to the crossword puzzle.
You're not like Kayla, just like scrolling in on her computer screen.
I'm not quite as zoomed in.
We need to get rid of these glasses at the end of the show.
How big are your text bubbles?
Oh, not big. No. Text bubbles, because I'm not on there constantly. It's because I'm 4 hours on my computer, so it starts to get just like blurry.
Gotcha.
My phone, I'm not on it like that.
Well, Keegan Murray's coming back soon, hopefully, but it's going to be another couple of weeks. We'll see if we get DeAndre Hunter with the Kings tomorrow. I imagine he'll play. It seems like he's going to be available to go against the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow. Russell Westbrook and Domantas Sabonis also were full participants in practice today, which is a good sign for their return.
For sure.
So it's looking like if Sabonis does get traded, it will be a grand total of 0 minutes. Keegan and Sabonis shared the floor together this season.
Go.
We'll see.
There we go.
In the preseason, when their over-under was 36.5, imagine telling someone Keegan and Sabonis will play 0 minutes on the floor together.
So if you thought you might see it, you just might not.
It seems like there's a very, very good chance that we could be getting a Shams bomb at some point between now and the trade deadline at noon on Thursday, involving a Domantas Sabonis Toronto Raptors trade, but we still got to figure out how many picks are going to be involved, who are the picks going to, and where the heck is Jakob Poeltl going? Because it's either going to be to Sacramento with 2 picks attached to it, or it's going to be somewhere else. And it seems like more than likely they're working out trying to send it somewhere else. Maybe the Memphis Grizzlies will take it. After their big salary dump trade today, they moved on from Jaren Jackson Jr. and got 3 first-round picks from the Utah Jazz. It's been a pretty fun day, to say the least, here in the NBA. But, of course, it's also Super Bowl week. And outside of the Super Bowl, a coach that's no longer going to be coaching at Levi Stadium, where the Super Bowl is being held, is Gus Bradley. He's hopping on the plane with Robert Saleh and heading to the old stomping grounds of Kayla Anderson. He's going to be on Saleh's staff with the Tennessee Titans. What did you think of that move for Saleh?
Yeah, because I was interested in this, and clearly they made the move for Raheem Morris to be their DC in San Francisco. But really, there was a lot of talk about them staying in-house, clearly because Shanahan's familiarity with Raheem Morris is there, but it's also there with Gus Bradley because he was on the staff this last year specifically, if we're talking. But clearly, Robert Saleh had a good connection with him as well. And sometimes those defensive minds stick together. And for Gus Bradley, this was obviously a promotion, going to a place where Robert Saleh primarily is probably going to be in charge of most of the defense, but he's giving him the opportunity to have that title. And again, he'll probably give more responsibility to a Gus Bradley than what he was with the 49ers. And I don't know if they were really considering him really as the defensive coordinator. Clearly it was more of an option following Robert Saleh. So I think it's good. I think we'll see like what he does with that title. And again, Robert Saleh is probably going to call most of the shots on that side of the ball. But it's a win for me because he's familiar with him. He trusts him. That's a big part of building a staff when it's really from scratch is you've got to have some of those pieces that you trust in place, especially coordinators. So Brian Daboll, I know he's familiar with Daboll, but this is a guy that was kind of with him in San Francisco. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought over KJ Wright, former Seattle Seahawk, speaking of the Seahawks, and there might be a couple more that come over there. But this is what happens is you kind of bring the pieces you're familiar with, and then you build out the rest of the staff.
Switching to the Super Bowl, it's fun to talk to you because you obviously have a dog in the race a little bit, or a horse in the race. You are a Seahawks fan, and throughout this entire journey, because this show started the week of Niners and Seahawks.
I forgot about
the divisional. I know, it feels like forever ago. Your concern with the Seahawks has consistently been Sam Darnold. The last game we saw him play, he put on a show, played really well, I felt, against Matt Stafford and the LA Rams to get to the Super Bowl. So when I ask you, from a Seahawks standpoint, your biggest concern going into Super Bowl Sunday, is it still Darnold, or is it something specifically different?
Yeah, and so I am a person, you'll find this out about me on the show and working with me is I'm a very loyal person, but like when new things come in, like you've got to prove to me that you're loyal too, right? And that you can, like, you're willing in terms of being a quarterback, you're like, you're going to do the work and you're going to have all that stuff in the past. You got to work through it, man. Yep. You got to work through it. And until it truly happens, I'm not all the way in, but he did kind of bring me about 75% in on that game because he was able to prove when the defense was probably at its worst that it's been in a while. In that game in particular, it was on Sam Darnold a little, and he did what he needed to do, and he didn't see ghosts and all the stuff that we always talk about. But now you are at the Super Bowl, man, and you've been on several teams, and you know, you have cleared your name for the most part, but now you have an opportunity to get it done, like, and actually hold the trophy. And so I think until he does that, I'm a little weary. And I'm not saying that if they lose, I'm going to blame him, because if it's not his fault, I won't blame him. But he's been known to do these things in the past. So it's only human nature for me to be like, I still have like my skepticism about him, but I think that the Seahawks are going to get it done. I just think it's a better team.
Does the pressure of expectations, though, could that be the biggest concern for the Seahawks? Not just for Sam Darnold, but for everybody, because the expectation around the country is the Seahawks absolutely should win this game.
Yeah.
And like it's
they're the favorites.
But big time. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not a coin flip.
I saw Diana Rossini. She was talking to Jim Rome today, and it's funny because you can tell we both covered Vrabel, because she was telling Jim Rome, like, the one thing you don't do is you don't give Mike Vrabel fuel. And when they know they're the underdogs, and they know, or he knows his team is an underdog, he's going to find every way to motivate his team. So it's like Seahawks don't need to give him any momentum, or that team any momentum or extra material this week, because they are already considered the underdogs and they know that. there's always that in the back of my mind. Like, he's such a freaking great motivator, hence why he's a head coach again and having this much success. So that always lies in the back of my mind just because I've covered him. I don't think I'd think that if I wasn't there 6 years seeing what ticked Mike Vrabel off and what made him go. So there's always that in the back of my mind. But I think the Seahawks are overall a better team.
Well, it's been a crazy day in the NBA, and we're about ready to pass the torch over to The Drive, guys. Joining us next, Whitey Gleason and Alan Stiles to wrap up the show. It's Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hurry in and save big during Honda's President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com. Folsom Lake Honda.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
It's President's Day sale time at Big O Tires. Now through February 22nd, buy 3 tires, get 1 free on 4 select in-stock Big O brand tires with installation purchase. Plus, you'll get our industry-leading ProTech Plus warranty for free. Disposal fees extra that go with other offers. See Big O dealer for pricing.
2 iconic comedians. 1 night of laughs. David Spade, Dana Carvey.
In 1998, they invented the cordless mic. Now let me just, listen, Paramount Theater, let's not jump on trends.
Even in the best marriage, at one point, you look over and go, not my best choice.
Friday, February 27th, the venue at Thunder Valley. Tickets on sale now at visitthundervalleyresort.com. David Spade and Dana Carvey together.
Join Sactown Sports downtown before every Kings game and pick up an In Shape Fitness Kings Rally Towel while supplies last. If you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong. Start the year strong and join today at InShape.com.
Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
Well, Whitey Gleason, it has been a day, to say the absolute least. 2 days in a row. Guys, we're doing a radio show.
I'm sorry. He walks in with a teacup, and I'm like, is that an espresso shot?
Anyway, it's been quite a day here in...
you and Kayla wore out the breaking news.
Oh, my gosh. We really did.
That button has been working hard today.
Mm-hmm.
So from Jaren Jackson Jr. going to Utah, which is how the whole party started, to... Nikola Vucevic going to
Boston.
The Boston Celtics. And then you've got Jaden Ivey going to Chicago. You've got Kevin Huerter going to Detroit. How about that for him? Mike Conley basically getting dumped so that the Timberwolves could open up a lot of money and cap space to potentially make a Giannis deal.
That they won't make.
Well, we'll see. Just feels like the NBA's back. Hey, this
so
feels familiar.
I think you were there at one point. I know Alan was there. I'm not sure about you, Kayla. I've been there in and out of this notion that the deadline's going to be a dudline.
I thought that.
That's out the window,
I
right?
think we were all, yes, it is. But it was all based off of how the summer went because the free agency period was so lame. I think we're all worried that we were going to get let down, but today was a good day. Still more work to do, but today was a good day.
Maybe we left some for you, some trades for you.
Well, we appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Alan apparently is working on it right now.
Oh, yeah.
The Adam Schefter of Sactown Sports.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey.
Oh, thanks for joining us.
Well, hey, the same thing we talked about, what we led the show with, the Pirtle situation.
Uh-huh.
Look, man, Alan's intel. I'm telling you, think I'm just messing around on these phones
I don't
playing
think,
Snake.
Well,
you know
some
what I mean?
of it I do
so
feel like
I do miss Snake, but I'm telling you, man, that the Pirtle situation and the one thing that did not come up in Sam's article that we discussed was just the Kings. I don't want to say non-appetite, but they weren't as high on quickly as I think maybe we thought since Scott Perry was involved in that. And the idea, I know Michael Scotto had mentioned it, that as much as Whitey loves Emmanuel Quickly,
he's awesome.
That contract isn't necessarily a terrible one, but it's not looked at extremely favorably. It's a lot of money.
It is, well, just like Pirtles, though.
Yeah.
Like, that is a...
Quickly plays.
Exactly.
So.
Would y'all call it the Pirtle Hurdle?
Yeah.
I heard you talk about that.
Matt refused to call it that. He had said hurdle going to the break, and he didn't say Jakob Pirtle, and I'm still mad at him for that.
I got chewed out. I got chewed out for it.
Well, you get credit for that.
No, he rejected the Pirtle.
I said it later, but the moment was ruined.
Yeah, after I told you.
Yeah.
Do you think they make this move, though, in all honesty, if they get another team involved?
I think the ball is in the Raptors' court. I don't know that the Kings are in a rush to move Domantas Sabonis. It really is about the Raptors and how much better they think Sabonis makes them, specifically this season with no Tatum and no Halliburton.
I almost don't want to do anything that helps Memphis right now. If they're like, look, we'll facilitate this, but we're going to need a first and a second from somebody. Right. We don't care where it comes from. If I'm the Kings, like, man, they're getting awfully busy over there. Their rebuild's going a lot better than ours.
Boom.
Yeah.
We were debating, Kyle and I specifically were debating whether or not you kick this can down the road with the Sabonis conversation versus trying to do it right now when there is actual viable interest in Sabonis for the money he's making, because you don't know if that's ever going to be there again until he's an expiring contract. And kind of the point of impasse that we got to, or the question became like, if it simply comes down to the Raptors are only willing to trade or use one first to facilitate the trade, and that first has to go to whatever team is taking Jakob Pirtle, is it a severe undersell or selling light to send Sabonis to Toronto for RJ Barrett and Abaji or whatever, but not get any draft compensation to Sacramento in return for Sabonis?
I feel like I would need at least one first. I think fans
even
feel
not taking Pirtle's contract.
Right.
Yeah. I think, and Whitey and I have gone back and forth on this idea of having control, right? A lot of teams don't care about that because they just see it as a longer contract. So we've gone back and forth on what that value would look like for the teams. So long story short, I feel as if you hold on to Sabonis, the same conversation that we're having right now, if you're not getting a pick for him, you could get something similar to Abaji and RJ Barrett next season. Okay. That's why I wouldn't I wouldn't be afraid of, if there's no first involved, then I wouldn't be afraid of a team being in a very similar situation to the Raptors next season, being willing to do a deal for a couple 27-year-olds that are slightly overpaid.
What if you had to give up a second to facilitate?
I'm done giving up. That's gone.
But you get a first from Toronto, but then you got to send a second.
No, it's gone. It's gone with Saric, wherever Saric is right now. I honestly,
Detroit.
He's
in
Detroit.
There we go.
He's
in
with
the
Kevin.
Motor
He's always
City.
been a good Piston.
He's getting, he's getting to the playoffs,
Fits
baby.
the mold well.
He does. I see why they made that move. Did you say you would do that? Send out the second?
I would absolutely use a second round. I think the purpose of second round picks is to facilitate deals. And if I can get a trade across the finish line and I have to include a second in order to do it, assuming I'm getting a pick back in the deal, then or like a first round pick in the deal, but I have to send a second to Memphis to get them to take Pirtle's contract, hell yeah, I'm doing it. Second round picks that's the purpose of them.
Memphis just has, as you know, that annoying knack of turning second-round picks into first-round talent.
Yeah.
Good for them.
What are they? Speaking of talent, what are they doing with Ja?
Yeah.
Like,
he's on his way.
Is it going to happen now? Like,
Don't let
might
me
as
get
well
on
do
the-
it now.
Don't let me get on the phone.
Wait, is this your intel?
Look.
Alan's intel?
as we've known with Trae Young, they came out, there was a proclamation, the Kings are out on Trae Young. There was never a proclamation like that about Ja Morant. I don't know where he fits on the pillars. If he fits any of the pillars.
We may have to build a new pillar.
Is there one that says...
Give me a redo.
How about change of scenery?
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'll be
exactly.
better. That's the pillar.
I'll build a pillar to block the door so he can't come in.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No.
Forgiveness
So you're
is the
saying
pillar.
The Kings could be interested.
I think they've
never said
been
they're not.
at the right price.
I think
the
the Sacramento Kings interest level is basically, if you want to give it to us for pennies, sure. That's been the level of the Kings' interest.
I think it's the Trae Young. I think it's the Trae Young situation, pretty similar to that. I think the issue is C.J. McCollum was expiring, and the Kings, if you want to count DeRozan as pseudo, clearly nobody else is counting him as pseudo expiring.
I know.
But that would be the note. But Brett Siegel, who has been all over this, Brett Siegel 3 p.m. Keith Smith, Spa Track, that's at 4 p.m. Doug Smith, beat writer for the Raptors at 3:45, and we close it out with the legend Jerry Reynolds at 5 p.m.
So they're pretty. So you guys don't have to do a show today.
I was gonna say.
I mean,
that's nice.
when it's the
Cool.
when it's a
That
trade
must be nice.
extravaganza,
Let's
I mean,
go.
you got to know where your bread's buttered. You know what I mean?
I don't know where to go with that.
I mean, I like sourdough, so that's
I do too.
Yeah, that's right.
I do too. Hey,
Yeah.
shout out Bella Brew, Natomas. Outstanding sourdough.
You should get him to sponsor you.
I've been working on it. I'm on the phones, Kayla.
John's not coming here, right, Matt?
No,
John's not
John,
coming here.
If fans get mad about sending a second-round pick out to bring DeAndre Hunter, and if Ja Morant walks through that door, I won't blame Kings Twitter for melting down. It makes
I want it
no
so
sense.
bad.
Yeah, Kyle
Makes
is like, he
no
won't
sense.
let
Hey,
this
in
down.
a
Kyle
small
wants the
market,
chaos.
when there's an opportunity for a superstar, you take that chance.
Who's the superstar?
Who are we talking about?
Hey,
Not DeMar DeRozan, because he's going to Memphis.
he's going to Memphis. We'll see you tomorrow.
Now, are we agreed on this? I heard you guys talking about this. It was bugging me in all the fallout from the trade. The Kings did get the best player in that trade, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had Alan's guy on Yossi Gozlan on yesterday, and I appreciate his time, but he had been talking about it. Yeah, Cleveland got the best player. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Have you ever watched basketball?
Yeah, no.
No.
He's not even.
And we talked to him about it. He explained, well, for them, he was best player.
Was
but
it like more
Kings got the best player in the
financial?
trade.
He was kind of explaining the financial part too.
Yeah.
It seemed
you're
like
right.
more. It was more the financial.
Well, I think
part.
it was financial, but it also was honestly the ability or inability of DeAndre Hunter to defend, I guess, in those closing moments. But we're going to see. I don't know how many closing moments that the Kings end up in. I am curious, Matt, because, we had our back and forth about the Keon Kuminga situation in the summer, and a couple people were texting the text line about it yesterday. From your estimation, and I don't know if Scott Perry's ever going to say anything. I hope they come out and say this was our thought process, as realistically transparent as they can be.
Yep.
But what do you think, or what have you heard happen to go from, hey, it doesn't sound like the Kings are willing to include Keon in Kuminga talks. Not to say that would have got it done, but we're not even going to do it, to where we are now.
I think, one, the context of this team ends up being a whole hell of a lot worse than they thought that they would be. Like, I don't think anybody expected this team to be this awful. Two, speaking of the context at the time, is the Sacramento Kings felt the same way then that they do now, in the sense of we don't have to overpay for a Jonathan Kuminga, and I think at the time there was a belief or a hope that there was a future with Keon Ellis. I think the moment that the Kings initially decided, Scott Perry initially decided, hey, Keon, we're going to pick up your option because it gives us the financial flexibility to do other things, but we're keeping the line of communication open. We're going to revisit this when we can revisit this. I think the plan always was keeping Keon around. And then based off of how this season went, how poorly it was going, a reason that both Perry and Doug seemed, or at least according to Mark Spears, it was all Doug Christie and not Scott Perry.
I don't think so.
I don't know. That's what Mark Spears
Were
said.
you saying playing time wise?
In terms of playing time, why he was playing, why he wasn't, why Doug is the second coach in a row now to be giving him DNPs at times when it was confusing why he was. I think just the circumstances of everything around the Sacramento Kings changed to where, okay, now we can not just get rid of Keon Ellis or move on from Keon Ellis. We can use him to, one, move on from a contract that didn't work out. And 2, bring in a player in DeAndre Hunter that I genuinely believe Scott Perry is a big fan of.
But then didn't we hear yesterday from someone that it was like Keon's camp that was like, we didn't really
Malik said, I miss, Schroeder and Keon, they're my guys, but they didn't want to be here.
You can always count on Malik.
Yeah.
You can always count on Malik.
I know, that freaking pizza guy, I love him.
Well, hopefully he stays.
I know, I want him to stay.
Malik will.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Well, stay tuned for Whitey Gleason on the radio with 17 guests while Alan Stiles is just on his phone.
Macchiato.
It's a guest, a high-level guest at the top of every hour. This is how you do a radio show, right, Whitey?
Fest.
It's a guest fest. It's the big show.
Yeah, it's how you do a radio show, Kayla. We don't know what we're doing, so we'll get out of the way for the big boys. Coming up next, it's the Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock.